Teams are in the tunnel, the crowd are expectant. Don't forget Marcus Rashford on the bench tonight. There's been stories on the Talksport website, talksport.com, that he wants to move to Spain, doesn't really want to go to Saudi, but we'll assess that in January, see what happens. Rashford approaching 500 senior games for club and country. He's scored over 150 goals in that time for club and country. He's on the bench tonight. Could it be a big night for Marcus Rashford? We shall see. By the way, on the website talksport.com we have the transfer notebook. There's a lot on Lopetegui's future at West Ham, so check that out, talksport.com. Also darts on Talksport 2 right now. But here on Talksport, it's live Premier League football. Talksport's 500th commentary of the year, the last game night of 2024, and who knows, we might even get that special guest appearance from Marcus Rashford on Talksport tonight. Let's make this one memorable. Man United against Newcastle, with former England midfielder Danny Murphy alongside your commentator Sam Matchface.
Well, December is often decisive when it comes to who will be in the running for honours in the new year and who will need the new broom. The month of festivity and joy started with Manchester United's new manager winning his first Premier League game here. Then they managed to win a Manchester derby, but that's where the party finished. Apart from that, December has been pretty miserable for the Red Devils. Acrimony off the field, leaky roofs, leakier defences, the Rashford saga, 5 defeats in 7, and strikers struggling to score goals. For Newcastle, well, it's been the most wonderful time of the year. 1 defeat in 6, 4 straight wins with 1 goal conceded, and the only striker problem they have now is how to keep Alexander Isak out of the clutches of the Vultures. 7 goals in 6 games. No wonder Newcastle slapped a huge price tag on his head. But it's hardly ever a pleasant trip here for Newcastle. A win for them at the antiquated Old Trafford can take them 5th, and a win for United takes them above Tottenham. We've got 3 games tonight in the Premier League, 2 7:45 kickoffs, and there's already been a goal at Portman Road. Ian Abrahams.
Ipswich 1, Chelsea 0. Liam Delap from the spot. A lovely ball through from Leif Davis for Delap. He literally seemed to slip and then got back on his feet, and then the goalkeeper Jorgensen brought him down. He picked up the ball from the spot and slammed it past the Chelsea keeper. 11 gone, Ipswich 1, Chelsea 0.
Ipswich still to win a game at Portman Road this season, but they're in front against Chelsea, and there's also been a goal at Villa. Jeff Peters.
It's Aston Villa 0, Brighton 1. Seaman Adingra, what a strike. Long ball forward from Dunk. João Pedro chased it. The ball dropped to the Ivorian, and Adingra 1 touch, then a right foot finish, his 2nd goal of the season. Villa 0, Brighton 1.
Keep you in touch with it all on Talksport tonight as we bring you live commentary from Manchester United and Newcastle. United without Bruno Fernandes and Ugarte. Marcus Rashford is back on the bench. Tino Livramento back from illness, but only amongst the reserves tonight for Newcastle. Alexander Isak leads the line. Our referee is Simon Hooper. The VAR is Paul Tierney. You won't miss a thing tonight. Not here, not at Villa, not at Portman Road, and not in League 2, where we have Wimbledon against Gillingham as well. It is the station that brings you more football than anyone else. This is game 500 of 2024, and this is Talksport. Monday night is Murphy night, and Danny, no one expects anything other than a Newcastle United win this evening, which is something in itself. But how do Manchester United prevent that?
Great effort, resilience, their senior players producing high-level performances. I actually don't necessarily think Newcastle are favourites. They've shown time and time again this season that their form is temporary. They struggle sometimes away from home. I saw the Brentford game where they were really poor and conceded lots of chances. So see if they can maintain their recent form.
Well, United get us started. They're shooting from left to right in the first half towards the scoreboard end. In the black and white jerseys, black shorts and white socks. Newcastle United shooting from right to left towards the Stretford end. Andre Onana is the United goalkeeper. De Ligt, Maguire and Martinez the back three. Mazraoui, Eriksson, Casemiro and Dalot. And then Amad Diallo and Joshua Zirkzee behind Rasmus Højlund. It's Dubravka in goal for Newcastle, with Trippier, Sherburn and Lewis Hall. They're the back four. Gumaresh, Tonali and Joel Linton in midfield, and then up top it's Murphy and Gordon supporting Isaac. The ball deep inside the Manchester United half, and Martinez has it in possession, sends it up to Xerxes, who doesn't hold it up particularly well once, and then twice gives it away, and it's with Bruno Guimaraes just down the right channel, releasing Murphy into the penalty area, and a recovery tackle by Diogo Dalot is a good one, sliding in to prevent the cross from Murphy, and Onana comes up and gobbles it up.
Great defending from Dalot, because he was nearly in there on the right hand side. Murphy, it all come from a really high press from Newcastle. Bruno Guimaraes has gone to join Isak in the press on that particular occasion.
Long high kick by Onana into the evening sky. The floodlights on here at Old Trafford. A beautiful evening for football. Joel Linton with a terrific tackle on his compatriot in midfield, and then he steams forward, and then Amad Diallo dives in from behind. The ball is diverted back to Onana, and Manchester United have it. Fast tempo to the early part of the game. Ball clipped forward by Martinez, out towards Højlund, who tries to get the better of Shares too experienced to fall for that, steps in front of him, gets it back to Dubravka, who was a Manchester United goalkeeper for a little while, and then they play their way out from the back towards the right hand side, and Murphy with the ball at their feet. Newcastle United, Murphy tries to scoop it forward, Martinez gets there first, he nudges it down to Dalot, and then it's all the way back to halfway, and Matthijs de Ligt. Newcastle's record against Manchester United at Old Trafford is nothing short of tragic. They've won only one of their last 39 league visits here, but they did win in the League Cup here last year, a thumping victory. And Manchester United were at one of their recent low ebbs. Mazraoui has been brilliant since signing, but has had a couple of iffy games, has lost the ball but won it back. Eriksen on the edge of the centre circle. Inside the Newcastle half is Xerxes, forward towards Højlund, but Cher is sharper. He steps in front of the Dane, and then the ball's clipped over the top for Isaac to chase right through the middle, but Onana's going to get there first, although he's had a little bit of a wobble. Had to stretch, and then under pressure from Isaac had to put the ball out. Isaac runs over to try and take a quick throw, and then they decide to delay that. But that was a little bit of a scare for Andre Onana, who's had some mishaps recently.
Well, it came from a poor decision from Højlund not to come towards the ball. It was the only pass on. Xerxes needed him, and Cher just jumped in front of him.
Luckily, Ruben Amorim didn't think he'd cracked it, even when they won the Manchester derby. He was right to play everything down, I think, and warn that this was a long-term project, but I don't think he was expecting to start with the worst record of any Manchester United manager for 93 years. Here's Guimaraes over on the far side, the Newcastle United right. That blonde hair that's been dyed over the last year or so, clips it from the right to the left, and Hall into the centre, and Isak is arriving in between the two centre halves to head down and in, and Manchester United have breached within 4 minutes at Old Trafford. Alexander Isak once again, a towering header, too easy, free inside the 6-yard box, and Newcastle's Swedish striking sensation scores for a 6th Premier League game in a row. No wonder he's got a mega bucks price tag. It's Manchester United 0, Newcastle 1.
It's a great ball in from Hall. Mazraoui's too narrow. He's caught in between. Do I go in with Gordon? Do I protect the centre halves? Nice switch from the right hand side from Bruno over to Gordon, who to Hall. I think he's onside. Takes one touch. There's no closing down. Gets a little bit of a deflection on the cross, but into a great area. And how Isak has got in between Martinez and Maguire, I'm not sure. They're checking for offside still now, I think, on the first pass.
Well, they are just checking the goal for offside. Manchester United are hoping for a reprieve. Eddie Howe celebrated. He's never won at Old Trafford before. Where's the offside in the freeze frame that we're checking here? No, it's here. It's down here. There's someone on this near side. It's Lewis Hall on this left-hand side. Is he in advance of Matthijs de Ligt? I think we're looking at it with a naked eye. He looks onside, but they will. Paul Tierney is the VAR tonight. The referee, Simon Hooper. They are just checking it. He's miles onside.
He's about a size 8 onside, isn't he? Size 10 maybe.
Yeah. What size are you?
8.
Yeah.
Medium.
I'm
average.
10. I got weirdly big feet. Yeah, I know. It's weird, isn't it?
I don't believe you.
The Newcastle fans celebrate again because they've just been told about the decision. And Isak celebrates his latest goal. It is goal number 13 of the season.
Do you know the worrying thing, Sam, there is when the cross comes in, although he's not closed down, it's not like Isak has to make a great run. There's no opposite movement or anything too clever. He just holds his position.
It's simple.
Too simple.
Manchester United behind at home to Newcastle United by a goal to nil. Maguire plays it square onto De Ligt. De Ligt sends it down the right in towards Højlund. He heads the ball in the air, and Manchester United now have got to try and come from behind. Newcastle are very good front runners. One of only 4 Premier League teams this season yet to lose when scoring the first goal this season. The others, Liverpool, Arsenal and Manchester United. Newcastle thrashed Leicester, Ipswich and Aston Villa in recent weeks, and on paper Manchester United looked there for the taking earlier.
The luxury of wing-backs is they can get out wide early because you've got the extra centre-back to take the winger who goes in.
Murphy down the right side, taking it on Dalot, beats him, gets towards the byline. There's a little flick off the Portuguese, and Newcastle are on the offensive once again down that right-hand side. And it's collected by Trippier into Bruno Guimaraes, and then back to Isak, who's dropped deep and tried to feed the ball into the penalty area. Share very tight to Højlund, has committed a foul as the ball went up to the big Danish striker just short of the centre circle, and it's going to be a free kick to Manchester United in a bit of respite. 1-0, 7 minutes played. Elsewhere tonight, Aston Villa behind at home and Ipswich in front against Chelsea by a goal to nil. Big night for Ruben Amorim. They've got huge fixtures over the next week or so. They've got that big FA Cup tie away at Arsenal. Before that, Liverpool on Sunday. And the Sunday session comes live from Anfield this Sunday afternoon from 1:30. This is Amad Diallo on the near touchline, trying to turn. He does manage to do that, feeds the ball down the right touchline, but there's no one there. Then he turns around to Mazraoui and says, well, where were you then? And the ball's back with Newcastle.
I've been really impressed with Lewis Hall recently. I think he's really settled into the role. Super technician, gets up and down that line, likes going forward, doesn't mind his one-on-one defending as well. I think he's really been a plus for Newcastle this season.
He's played for England as well.
Yep.
And that's a big thing for him. I thought he was really good when he came on at half-time in Greece, and did well in his second appearance for England as well against Ireland. It's Manchester United who have the ball over on the far touchline back here at Old Trafford, on what has been a poor start for them in terms of conceding the goal. And Eriksen has it with Casemiro, who overhits the ball down towards the left-hand side, and Dalot raises his hand knowing that he was never going to get there, and it goes out of play and away for a goal kick for Newcastle United. How much of a setback is that when you set your team up? They actually started quite fast, and Manchester United's biggest problem, I think, over the last couple of weeks has been their lack of athleticism and dynamism in midfield and further up the pitch. But actually they started okay, Manchester United, before they then completely left Isak free inside the penalty area, and that's a massive setback for Amorim.
It's not normally as big a setback when you've been playing okay, but when you're in United's run of form, it creates a lack of confidence. Here we go again.
Here is Joelinton out toward the wide right position. Murphy with the cross towards the far post. Isak's not going to reach it this time. It's going to run past him and out of the penalty area towards the corner flag. Amad Diallo gets there first. He hacks it clear up towards the midpoint of the Manchester United half, but it's black and white shirts that get there first, and they are dominating possession as it stands. Here is Tonali into Bruno Guimaraes, back out wide towards the right hand side, and Trippier it feeds the ball into the feet of Murphy, and then taken on by Bruno Guimaraes into Tonali twists away from Casemiro, tries to push it into the box, but it's blocked by Martinez. Then Bruno Guimaraes again wins it back. Manchester United can't get it clear, and Bruno Guimaraes again starts to dance forward very tight to the touchline over on the far side in those bright orange boots under the floodlights here at Old Trafford. Byrne switches the side to the left, and Hall, and then he gets it back again. Byrne then dollies it up for Gordon to chase into the left corner, and he's fast. Gordon, he's going to get there ahead of Mazraoui. He's then going to beat him on the inside and get into the box. A low ball into the near post, comes back to Joelinton, who strikes, and it's narrowly wide of the right hand upright. Let's go off to Portman Road. Goal for Ian Abrahams.
So it could be level here. Ipswich 1, Chelsea 1. Cole Palmer's ball in from the right hand side for João Felix at the far post to put it into the roof of the net. They are checking Ross side. It is incredibly tight for Felix. I'll get back to you, but at the moment Ipswich 1, Chelsea 1.
Back here at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 1.
Brilliant play that was from Anthony Gordon. Got a little nutmegs on Mazraoui, found himself on the byline heading towards the goal on that left-hand side. Tried to pick out his man, didn't quite get it there, but dangerous, wasn't it?
Xerxes trying to play a reverse ball for Højlund. Again, he wasn't on the same wavelength, and Byrne guided it back to Dubravka. Højlund showing a lot of energy to try and shut down Byrne, but it's Newcastle United that emerge with the ball. Tonali into midfield. He's playing in that number 6 position. He was switched there on Boxing Day, and he's been really useful. Newcastle have looked really handy over the last few weeks.
He's a good player, Tonali. He's found obviously he's taken a while to find his feet, but that position will suit him. What's so obvious to me straight away, we talked about it before, Sam, but the 3 lads in the middle of the park for Newcastle basically are dealing with Casemiro and Eriksen, or they're trying to be dealt with by Casemiro and Eriksen. It's just not going to happen.
Stephen Bunting has secured his place in the next round of the PDC World Darts Championship. Here is Isaac guiding Class 3 players. Right-footed shot from the edge of the area. Doesn't quite come off. And it's brought down by Dalot, who is being nobbled at by Murphy. Robbed by Murphy. And Newcastle have it again in the right-hand side. Wimbledon 0, Gillingham 0 is the latest score from League 2. Here it's 1-0 to Newcastle United. They're coming forward again, and Guimaraes is in behind. He's twisted away from Martinez, and then tried to turn the ball back to Anthony Gordon, and out comes Casemiro to thump it up into the evening sky. And anywhere will do for Manchester United right now just to get it clear, but they're finding it very difficult to do that. The rest of the PDC World Darts Championship, by the way, over on Talksport 2, Bunting beating Luke Woodhouse 4-0. Luke Littler, remember, in action tonight at 9:45. Still 1-0 to Ipswich down at Portman Road. That Chelsea goal offside. And it's 1-0 to Brighton away at Villa. Early goals in the Premier League tonight. Gordon just tries to trick his way to the edge of the box. Square to Tonali, who's 10 yards back from the edge of the D.
Tonali's just megged the ref. His confidence is well up. Did you see that?
Good job he didn't touch either side of his legs, because he would have to have stopped the game there, Simon Hooper. That was pretty impressive from Tonali. Forward by Sher, looking for Hall, who's in behind the defence here, and he just couldn't control it first time. And Amad Diallo, scrambling back, manages to get there and just stops the chance of another effort on goal. But Newcastle all over Manchester United here, like a rash. Here is dominant. Murphy down the right side. He's crossed into the box. At the far post, Gordon coming in. Just couldn't wrap his foot around it to steer it on target. It's off target as he meets it just inside the 6-yard box at the far edge of that and goes narrowly wide of the goal. 13 minutes played. Manchester United 0, Newcastle 1. And I have to say, I am not surprised at just how dominant Newcastle are.
I am a little bit, although I can tell from the selection that it was going to be a problem in the middle of the park. You know, Eriksen and Casemiro's qualities on athleticism, and those 3 in there, they're a really good trio in that respect. That was a great ball from Murphy, and I was praising Mazraoui earlier, but he's let Gordon run off the back of him there.
He had a tough night against Spurs. He had a tough night against Bournemouth, and after being really good, actually, I think, in the early part of the season, but he's had a couple of bad games now, and Nusir Mazraoui. And they have won a free kick here. Joshua Xerxes has been fouled. He went up for a header just over the halfway line. Tonali just sort of stood his ground and edged back into him.
How is that a free kick? A player runs into the back of you, you can't see he's coming, and you get given a free kick against you. How bizarre.
The free kick is taken by Eriksen, just left of the centre circle. It's lifted over the top of the defence. Actually, Trippier could have left that, and his goalkeeper could have picked it up. He tried to hook it clear instead. Murphy's got it back to Trippier, and now Bruno Guimaraes tries to get away from Casemiro, who wins it back high up inside Newcastle territory, wide on the left, and now Manchester United have possession. 15 minutes played. Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 1. This is De Ligt in the centre circle. First experience for him back in the team since the derby. He's been missing with illness. Only tasted 2 defeats since Erik ten Hag was sacked, and that was in 11 games. But they have struggled without him in recent matches. Eriksen back to Martinez. Ruben Amorim screaming as the ball goes up towards Højlund, who looks a little bit isolated. Amad Diallo heads it back to Casemiro. It's all a little bit stretched and desperate from Manchester United as they try and search for Mazraoui down this right-hand side. It's cut out by the Newcastle defence, and then Cher with a really long raking ball forward tries to find Isaac, but Martinez steps across him.
I think one of the disappointing things about Manchester United, especially in the game at Wolves, was the lack of creativity in that first half when it was 11 against 11. A bit like then, Martinez, long, hopeful ball up towards Højlund. Very difficult for him to do anything with that, like this ball we've just seen there. They're just nothing balls. He's too isolated at times.
Well, Manchester United have lost a big slice of their creativity because Bruno Fernandes isn't in the team. He is one of those who's prepared to play a risky ball. Doesn't always get it right, but he will gamble. And not a game goes by where he doesn't conjure something. He's suspended tonight. Newcastle have had 4 shots, 1 on target, 7 touches in the opponent's box. Manchester United have had none of the above so far. But they're coming forward here. Højlund just dabs it on to Eriksen, who joins the attack, gets to the edge of the area, is dispossessed by Bruno Guimaraes without even trying, and then he's played a lovely ball over the top for Isaac, who's onside, and he's running now into the penalty area. He's facing up to the goalkeeper. He tries to dig him, but couldn't get underneath it, and he dollies it up into the arms of Onana, but he raced away there in behind the Manchester United defence from the right side. He ran diagonally into the penalty area, and then he just tried to scoop it.
Do you know what? I don't know where Martinez is going. He goes ahead of Isak. I don't know if he doesn't see Maguire deeper down him. It's a great ball from Bruno. He's actually left him on the halfway line. I can't understand what Martinez is doing.
You can see Maguire shouting at Martinez to keep an eye on him, and he's just not looking.
It's as poor a finish as you'll see from Isak. There's no conviction in that. It's too self-indulgent from there. Just get your foot through it, side foot or laces.
They've won it back again in midfield. This time Guimaraes has taken it off Amad Diallo. They've spread it wide towards Newcastle's right wing position, and Jacob Murphy, who tiggers down the touchline. A low cross is going to be dealt with by Dallo. He didn't get any purchase on that, so we'll go off to the game at Villa Park and find out what the latest is from Jeff Peters.
Brighton 1. Villa have had 1 penalty shout. It's been checked by VAR, not given. There is another VAR check at the moment. João Pedro on Rodgers. Both challenges on Rodgers. The referee's going over to the screen, so we may have a penalty here, but Brighton lead Villa 1-0.
Back with you for the penalty in just a second. You're listening to Manchester United 0, Newcastle 1 on Talksport with Sky Sports, and don't forget, you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Manchester United versus Newcastle, live right now. Search Now Sports. Here's Anthony Gordon for Newcastle United, attacking the goal away to our left. He gets down the left side of the area, produces a cross in towards Joe Linton, up there with a header, and it's past Onana and into the corner, and Manchester United are 2-0 behind, and it very much looks as if it's going to be a sorry end to a roller coaster year for Manchester United. The honeymoon is over for Ruben Amorim. Newcastle United 18 minutes into the game, a 2-0 up at Old Trafford. They've only won here once in 39 visits, but it looks for all the world as if they're going to win again. They're bossing this encounter. It's Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 2.
Well, again, it's Gordon. Mazraoui's not close enough. It's a great cross, and then you've got a midfield runner, Joe Linton, out jumping Martinez. But it all comes, Sam. Look, I'm watching a replay. Bruno Guimaraes, Joe Linton and Tonali, 3v2, playing around the midfield pairing of this 3-4-3. So simple. They get in the final third, and then when it does come in, he's too powerful for Martinez. He can't cope with that. But the 3v2 in the middle of the pitch is basic. Ruben Amorim has to see the problem in the middle of the park. Even if for 5 minutes he switches it and puts 3 in there and 2 up top. Put Xerxes with Højlund and put Amad in the middle with them to help them out. Even if he plays as a 10 on Tonali to stop him dictating the game. It's so easy for the 3 midfield players of Newcastle.
Scored versus Villa on Boxing Day, also notched against Forest and Saints. The Brazilian powerhouse Joe Linton is on the score sheet again.
I did predict 3-2 to Man U before the game.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'll take that bet.
I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Onana, under pressure from Isaac, plays it out towards the left-hand side. Martinez, from the left full-back position, hits it long down the touchline. The one thing that would worry me, that's 2 headers inside the box. They've got 3 centre-halves, and both times it's been very easy for the Newcastle aggressor to get on the end of a cross from this left-hand side.
Well, yes, and then if you take that back a step, the crosses have been easy, no pressure
Correct.
on the ball, and to get to the final third is too easy because of the 3v2. That's a tactical thing. Now, okay, Ericsson can't deal with Guimaraes anyway, or Joel Linton, even if he had someone else in there, because he's not up to it physically. But when you've got two players in the middle of the park who aren't particularly athletic against three that are, you're asking for trouble.
And they can't hold the ball up. Xerxes just been dispossessed, and now Newcastle are just once again trying to come up with a pattern of play to get them on the front foot. Hoyland's gone down the right-hand side, and it looks that he was in an offside position. He wasn't flagged from the near touchline, so they continue here. Newcastle leading by 2-0. There's been a goal at Villa for Jeff Peters.
It's Aston Villa 1, Brighton 1. Ollie Watkins has levelled things up from the penalty spot. 2 shouts for fouls on Rodgers, the first by Van Hecke, the second by João Pedro. Referee went to the screen, decided it was a spot kick. Watkins has scored. Villa 1, Brighton 1.
Back here it's 2-0 to Newcastle United at Old Trafford. Manchester United conceding twice in the first 20 minutes to a team that have only won here once in 39 visits in the league. They did win here a couple of, in fact, 13 months ago when they came here in November of last year in the League Cup. Lewis Hall scored that day. He was commentating from this position, and they were absolutely in charge of that match, and they've been absolutely in charge of this one too. Mazraoui on halfway.
Ruben Amorim's like a cat on a hot tin roof. But you know what? Reputation or not, it doesn't matter. When you've got very obvious problems on the pitch that most of us can see, I'm amazed he's not tweaked it already.
But it's just a basic numbers game, right?
It's what numbers plus quality
game.
And athleticism. Yeah, I mean numbers firstly, and their quality to make that count, and their little technical abilities in the middle of the pitch. But
I thought that was the idea of playing the 2-10s. The 2-10s would have to drop back in and make a box in midfield when you didn't have the ball.
Well, you've got Ahmad who's stayed out wide.
Yeah.
Right, he's never going in there at the moment. And Xerxes, he's not defensive-minded, is he? So he's not going to see that.
Here's Hoyland running in behind, trying to get the better of Kieran Trippier, who stretches out his leg and hooks it over his head. It goes out towards the far side, and then it's kept in by Murphy. Now Casemiro has it. Plays it forward to Mazraoui, he wanders into midfield. Slide tackle from Dan Burn, then away by Hall. There's no crispness to the pass. The Manchester United fans getting really frustrated now as Bruno Guimaraes picks the ball up just short of the halfway line. And Dalot comes back, gets a tackle in, feeds it back into his own half, and then Martinez will tidy up. You're listening to Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent a Car. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. I mean, he's on a hat on a cot? No, a cat on a hot tin roof, because he must be bubbling inside, right? He must be sitting there thinking to himself, this is...
Yeah, but he can do something about it. All the movement in the world doesn't make your mouth work, does it? And make changes. It's like running the anxiety, you can see it, tension.
So what do you do? What do you do? What do you do right now?
Why is Mainu not playing ahead of Ericsson, first and foremost?
He hasn't been playing very well.
Well, he's still got more legs than Ericsson. Or Toby Collier, I've seen playing in the middle of the park. He's an excellent footballer. Good athlete, can play. You need some energy. This United side for weeks has been lacking energy and tenacity. So you find legs, and if you don't have legs, you clog up. You have to defend in numbers. You have to play on the counter.
Neither of which they have decided to do so far. Sean Longstaff just going out to warm up because Bruno Guimaraes has just gone down over on the far side. Everybody else is reflecting on the 2 goals that Newcastle have scored. The Newcastle fans, about 3,000 of them who have made the journey across from the east coast to the west and the northwest of England, are in fine voice.
Joel Linton's a wonderful player. I would hate to play against him.
Could you argue that hit his arm and went into the net?
You could.
Because it looked as it sort of almost came off the shoulder. VAR would have checked that. If they had deemed it to have been below the T-shirt mark, they would have had to have ruled it out, obviously. You're right.
Yep.
Here's Isaac down this left-hand side, finding Lewis Hall, whose right-footed shot goes straight through the middle of the goal and is clapped by Onana. It certainly wasn't a shot to be sniffed at.
Well, he scored this end last time, didn't he? In that
he did.
win.
In fact, the only 2 goals he scored for Newcastle have been against Manchester United at Old Trafford. Once in the league once
Good
in
press.
the cup. Great press, and they've won the ball back high inside United's half. Newcastle have it, bit of space for Tonali, who moves, shoots, deflection, narrowly wide. Well, he struck that really firmly, Sandro Tonali, and they won the ball back well. Cher fed the ball into the path of Tonali, who struck from 25 yards. It took a little flick, and it went behind for another Newcastle United corner. They lead 2-0.
So easy. I mean, Tonali's in oceans of space. That's why he decides to have a shot, but they work it into him. Ericsson gestures as he gets out to him. Deflection from Martinez. Could have gone anywhere. Could be 3.
Well, it will be 3 soon if they continue playing like this, Manchester United, because they're just gifting chances. They are very bad at defending from set pieces, Manchester United. They concede a lot of goals from dead ball situations.
The thing is, it doesn't matter at the moment who he brings on if the formation stays the same. That's the
You think it's a system problem?
Well, it's both a system and personnel problem at the minute, and confidence is low, but it's both. More system than personnel.
Here's the corner, deep to the far post. It's almost snuck in at the far post. And Kieran Trippier, having watched what Wolves did on Boxing Day and what Tottenham did in the League Cup, tried to catch out Andre Onana. Well, he has had his mishaps this season, Andre Onana. He conceded directly from a corner in that game against Wolves. And Altay conceded one down at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And Newcastle not the first ones to try and pick on that weakness. Burn plays out from the back, clips it forward up towards Gordon. It's over his head and lands at the feet of Matthijs de Ligt with his shirt untucked to the waist. Just edges forward, gives it to Ericsson to Mazraoui, and then Ahmed again, who's very wide on this near side, just sort of running into a spot of bother. And it is a slightly different role for him. I think he's playing wider than I was going to expect, actually.
Me too.
Martinez into Casemiro, looking for the run of Ahmed in behind the defence, but it's too close to the goalkeeper, easily picked off by Dubravka. And it's been an underwhelming first half an hour for Manchester United.
I have to say, I know they've been really poor and all over the place. Newcastle have been bang at it.
Yep.
Moving the ball quickly, good runs, good shape, nice balance. You see, the way they're playing, Ericsson or Casemiro can't come out to Tonali. And Xerxes, Ahmad's out wider. We thought he'd be narrower. Xerxes hasn't really got a defensive bone in his head. In his body, I should say. In his head. That was a weird one. But you know what I mean.
I'm with you.
So they're just dictating. The 3 midfield boys are dictating. Good header.
Burn just pushes Diallo off the ball, gives it to Bruno Guimaraes, who's being wrestled by Ericsson, but it doesn't matter. He's got away from it anyway. He's played in Murphy inside the penalty area, and Diallo has to slide across and put the ball out of play. Ericsson's very lucky, actually, that he isn't given a yellow card from that, because he was purposefully dragging down Bruno Guimaraes for about 2 or 3 seconds before Bruno Guimaraes just flicked him off and played the ball down the right channel anyway.
There's also been 3 remarkable recovery runs from Dalot to actually stop Murphy having a free slide across the goal.
Yeah, and without him it might be even worse than it already is, and it's bad. Here is the corner over on the far side, and Lewis Hall has trotted over to take it. Gordon is lurking with intent on the edge of the penalty area. Murphy is there as well. Murphy guides it back to Trippier, so he's got a different angle. Maybe he wants to feed it into the box. No, he's giving it back to Lewis Hall, who's going to strike from distance, blocked by Xerxes. It spills out to the right wing position where Tonali threatens to cross it, then does. It's in towards Dan Burn with a header, and he just sort of glanced it across the face of goal rather than hitting the target. Comes back out to Isak, who wanders into the box, lays it off towards Trippier. Trippier back to Gordon. Gordon back to the edge of the area. Cher turns and hits it. Comes back to Isak inside the box. He slams into the corner. It's a terrific goal. The offside flag has gone up now. Isak is complaining, saying that he wasn't offside, and they will check this on VAR, but it was a thumping finish from a 45-degree angle. He's wagging his finger, Isak. Well, they will check this.
I think he's saying it come off United player, but the Newcastle players kicked it onto the United player.
Yeah, it's offside. Isak is complaining that the ball that was played forward by Anthony Gordon Well, he doesn't look offside.
Now.
No, it's the share ball. Because it came off of the he turned and hit the ball against the defender, Isak is claiming that he was able to strike it legitimately, but he was miles offside.
Hell of a finish though, wasn't it?
It was a great finish. He is very good. In front of goal is Alexander Isak, and he's running for it now. Up towards the edge of the centre circle. Trying to help it on towards Joel Linton, who takes over. Manchester United untidy. Here is Tonali. He feeds it into Gumarães. Here comes to Gordon, and then Tonali takes over. Hits the post from 5 yards out.
How's he missed?
This has got massacre written all over it, this. Manchester United are wilting.
What a move.
Newcastle in fine fettle. They're cutting Manchester United to shreds.
It was everyone was involved. Little intricate passes, brilliant little pass into Gordon, who then sets Tonali, takes his time, got a bit casual. I think he might have toe-ended it onto the post instead of just making sure in the bottom corner. That could be a big moment in this game.
Newcastle fans are teasing the Manchester United supporters.
Yeah, 2-0, you never know, things can change. Making a sub already.
Yeah, Mainu about to come on, he's spotted it. Amad Diallo picks it up, plays it out wide towards the left. Oh dear, straight out of play. Well, we played 32 minutes exactly, and Ruben Amorim has seen enough. He is changing it straight away, and he is taking off Joshua Zirkzee, and on comes Mainu. And listen to that from the Manchester United fans at the withdrawal of Joshua Zirkzee and his replacement, Kobbie Mainoo. Well, talk about ends of the spectrum. You had a massive cheer from the Manchester United fans, and then a few boos as well. Clearly, some of the Manchester United fans not happy that a lot of them cheered a substitution of one of their players, but I think it just shows you the low ebb at which Manchester United find themselves at the moment. I think it means Eriksen will push further on, but it does give them an extra number in the middle of the park, which is what you've been calling for.
It does, yeah. And it had to be done. I mean, he's 10-15 minutes late, but it's still, at least he's done it. I think he has to take some responsibility, because Zirkzee has just been absolutely hammered by this crowd.
And he is going down the touchline straight away. He put his jacket on and he's going straight down the tunnel. And there's a few of them actually away to our left in the Stretford end that have stood and clapped him actually.
Well, their frustration shouldn't be with him really. He wasn't great, but there's plenty of others that...
Here is Højlund running in behind Murphy, gets into the air, right-footed shot, oh, it goes narrowly wide of the left-hand upright. Well, Manchester United haven't had a shot in anger, but a long ball down the left channel, raced onto by the Dane, gets to the edge of the 6-yard box and sends it towards the far corner, and he wasn't too far away from getting Manchester United back into a game. Really, they haven't been in all afternoon.
Well, he couldn't listen. That was the best chance. It was a decent run. It might have just been off actually, but as he goes in, nice touch from him, takes it early, it's unlucky. Well, you could have taken any one of these United players off, really. None of them could have moaned.
Well, the first change is Kobbie Mainoo on for Joshua Zirkzee, and that just changes the complexion of that midfield, the makeup of it, and we'll see what happens next. Manchester United trailing by 2-0, held up by Diallo. Joel Linton comes across and puts some pressure on Amad Diallo, but Fabian Schär had already been penalised for holding Rasmus Højlund. There is a free kick on the halfway line. Let me give you the latest odds from our betting partner Ladbrokes, where right now you can get Manchester United to come back and win the game at 14-1. Newcastle to win the match is 15-2 on. You can draw, if you think the draw is possible, 13-2 is available at Ladbrokes, 18+, speedgambleaware.org. Manchester United have the ball inside the centre circle. They need a goal before half-time here. They've had a terrible start to the match. 10 minutes before the break. Here is Martinez down the left side, feeding it onto Diogo Dalot, approaching the edge of the penalty area, miscontrols it. Murphy will get it. Then there's a bit of a confusion between the two. Dalot a little bit too physical, free kick given.
Do you know what's really surprising is I'm just looking at where Eriksen's gone. He's actually gone into the same position Zirkzee was playing. I thought he was going to go and stand on Tonali. I don't think the system's changed. I think he's just felt that Zirkzee was getting a bit of stick or having a bad half an hour, so he's dragged him. Eriksen's actually gone to that little tucked in left-hand side position where Xerxes was. You can still see the 3v2 in the middle of the pitch. I'm absolutely gobsmacked by that.
Free kicks in Newcastle in the right full-back position, leading by 2-0. Important for Eddie Howe now, just to... I mean, obviously all the talk is going to be about Manchester United and how they react and what they can do from here. But it's important for Eddie Howe and Newcastle United just to keep hold of the game, manage it well.
It should be over, shouldn't it?
It should be finished. Yeah, it should be finished because they've hit the post. They've had another great chance. They've had 2 great chances with Isaac and others. Is that Joshua Xerxes coming back now? It is. I think he's come back from the dressing room, head up, hood up, walked down the touchline, and he's back with his teammates to take in the rest of the first half, of which there is 9 more minutes for Manchester United to try and get back into the game. But it's been a tricky performance from them so far, lacking the tactical nous and the ability to repel a physical and vibrant Newcastle United team. It's half-time at Portman Road. Talksport's Ian Abrahams.
Ipswich 1, Chelsea 0. Liam Delap's penalty separates the two sides. He went down very easily. Soft award, but given by John Brooks. At the other end, the crossbar and the post denying Cole Palmer, and also the offside against Joao Felix. That went to VAR, which took an eternity. At the break, though, Ipswich 1, Chelsea 0.
Still Wimbledon 0, Gillingham 0 in League 2. Here it's 2-0 to Newcastle United as Martinez sends the ball forward, looking for Mazraoui inside the penalty area. He tries to bring it down, tussles with Dan Burn, and Burn sorts himself out to be able to clear, but actually Mazraoui was penalised for being overly physical, and the free kick is given on the edge of the 6-yard box.
What Newcastle have done well defensively is Jacob Murphy has tracked Dalot the whole half, which allows Trippier to come in and play as a third centre-half, if you like, in effect, which means they've still got an extra man when they're defending the United 3. But every aspect of Newcastle's play has been good, defensively and offensively. They've just got to make sure they don't slip and let their levels... I mean, look, United can't do any worse second half. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. But if Newcastle keep their levels up and keep doing what they were doing, they should win this game comfortably.
Well, they benefited from John Duran's sending off on Boxing Day, but they did rack up 22 shots against a very well-organised team. You would imagine that they were looking forward to getting stuck into Manchester United's defence tonight. Certainly felt like that in the opening half an hour. Here is Bruno Guimaraes out to Trippier. Trippier back to Bruno Guimaraes. I think if they want it and they go and get the killer goal, it will be over.
Yeah.
Here is Joe Linton trying to get away from Mainu, but even Mainu can't bring him down because he's too strong, and he tries to feed the ball into Murphy and almost did that. And then Martinez tried to play it against the arm of the defender, but he's given it straight back to Newcastle, 10 yards short of his own penalty area. What the hell is he doing? Here is Bruno Guimaraes, back to Lewis Hall. Tonali spots the run of Trippier down the right side. He's able to head the ball back to Isaac, right angle of the penalty area. Gets into the box, then goes back outside, gives it to Trippier again. Bruno Guimaraes wants it on the edge of the area. Very tight on the touchline. 3 Newcastle players trying to outfox the Manchester United defence. Then they calm down, just keep hold of it, wait. Are patient and then pick their moment to find Isaac, who turns away, runs to the edge of the box, feeds it into Joel Linton. Lovely turn by him. It's just behind Isaac as he runs into the area. And Mazraoui tidies up for Manchester United, who at the moment just can't live with Newcastle.
Great play, wasn't it? Just that final pass from Joel Linton. Nice and patient, good movement, very intricate, but really good from Newcastle again.
After the game tonight, we're going to bring you the Sports Bar with Majestic and Darren Ambrose from 10 o'clock. You'll be able to have your say. 03717 2233 44. Texts and WhatsApps as well. I'm sure there'll be quite a few callers from Newcastle and quite a few callers from Manchester United. Of course, a lot of teams playing tonight, so I'm sure it'll be busy. Casemiro's just had a shot from 30 yards. He's missed by 40. I think the Newcastle fans got that. He ballooned it over the top of the crossbar, and it's away for a goal kick to our right. Newcastle have kept 3 clean sheets on the spin, so Manchester United have got their work cut out, even when they're playing well, to break down this defence. Marcus Rashford is warming up away to our left-hand side, available from the bench. Called up for the first time since Victoria Pilsen away from home, when he was dragged after 50 minutes. Burn from the goal kick has it wide left of the penalty area. Newcastle building up from the back to the goalkeeper, to Bravka, and out the other side to Kieran Trippier. who scampers over the halfway line, stops, looks back and feeds it back into the feet of Bruno Guimaraes. Bruno Guimaraes receives it again after giving it briefly to Trippier. Then moves forward, plays a crossfield ball out towards Lewis Hall. It drops beautifully for him. He controls it and nudges it to Gordon. Gordon directs him to go forward and then wraps it into Isak. Isak, who plays it against Casemiro, then tries to squeeze through a tight gap. Doesn't get through it, and Eriksson will clear up to the halfway line. Ahmad takes it down, but Gordon is quick and fast and sharp, and he comes back to nudge it out of play and away.
That was brilliant watching Gordon do that recovery run. But you know why it was extra brilliant? Because when you give the ball away and there's a counter attack, you always run that little bit faster because it's your fault. And I could see it in his face.
He's getting the cheers, isn't he? Scored really early against Villa. And he says that people linking him and Isak with moves away are talking absolute rubbish. He says, we're fifth in the table. We're a top club ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, he's happy there, isn't he? The fans love him.
Why wouldn't they? He is terrific. He's got bags of potential still to get better, and he's all about self-improvement. He does a lot of work on his mindset, on what he needs to get fitter, what he needs to do to deliver better.
I think it's all about end product. The rest of his game's great. As much more his end product's getting better, especially at home. He's really good.
Yeah.
Away from home, maybe just improve that. But the whole team's probably guilty of not being as good away from home. But he's a real talent, and his work ethic's tremendous.
He's got an assist already today. Left-footed cross from the near side, which is headed in, maybe off the top of the shoulder by Joel Linton. It's 2-0 to Newcastle United. Ball back to De Ligt deep inside his own half. Big team talk coming at half-time from Ruben Amorim. He needs a huge turnaround in the second half. A complete change of attitude, of endeavour.
Change of plan. Change of plan. Real difference. You've got to set them up differently to this.
Half-time at Aston Villa. Jeff Peters.
It's Villa 1, Brighton 1. Brighton ahead early on. Dunk's long ball caused panic. Simon Adingra stepped inside Torres and swept home. Villa had 2 penalty appeals not given on field. Craig Pawson centred the screen for the second, overturned his decision. Ollie Watkins on his 29th birthday made no mistake from 12 yards. Half-time, Villa 1, Brighton 1.
Good for Ollie Watkins to get on the score sheet in the absence of John Duran, who's suspended tonight and will be for the next two games after this one. Here is De Ligt up to halfway. Across to Ahmad. Ahmad into Mazraoui. Looks for the return. And Lewis Hall just clipped Diallo as he went down the right-hand side. Jason Tindall very quick to come back and point where the free kick should be taken from. He's having a word with the fourth official. The fourth official was very quick to come out and have a word with Jason Tindall. It wasn't as if he was doing anything wrong there. There was only 2 inside the technical area.
I'm not sure how the fourth official got his tracksuit bottoms on. He must have jumped off the wardrobe to get into them. They are tight.
Stephen Martin, I've come across him in the Premier League before. They are, aren't they? They look like the spray-on trousers. Like the ones that you used to wear back in the day, Dan, when you were out on the Albert Dock.
We're a bit more flary back in the day.
Were they? Yeah.
The only reason I wore tight trousers if they were hand-me-downs.
Here is Cher out towards the far side, looking for the run of Murphy. Goes all the way back to Onana, and then he squares it, but the press is on from Newcastle United, and they quickly try and put Manchester United under pressure, and as a result of that, the ball goes up towards the halfway line. Actually, it was missed by Byrne, and that almost allowed Højlund to grab hold of it, but Newcastle very good at just tidying up whenever they look as if they're going to lose the ball. And that's been a feature of their play recently. In fact, Anthony Gordon was talking about, once they'd conceded so many goals away at Brentford and they weren't playing particularly well, they weren't getting consistent run of results, they had a bit of a dressing down. They had a open session where they told a few home truths, and he said, after that, we sort of had the discussion, what do we want to be? Do we want to be a top team or not? Since then, they've won every single game. Here is Isak over the halfway line, motoring down the right side now for Newcastle, who lead by 2-0. It's fed into Jacob Murphy, then back to Trippier, who's crossed into the boxes towards Isak, away, but only as far as score on the edge of the penalty area. 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half.
Dan Byrne was actually in the box there for that cross. Fair play to him. I'm not sure they should be taking that many risks just yet at 2-0, throwing your centre-half forward.
Well, maybe they want to finish the game before half-time.
Yeah.
And they know the next goal in this match is absolutely crucial. If they're to get it, it's good night. And Manchester United probably will find themselves in an impossible position. If they were to score the next goal, Manchester United,
game on.
You never know.
You never know.
Here is Cher, forward to Bruno Guimaraes, back to Cher. Guimaraes trying to turn away from Martinez, who's followed him in.
That's the first time one of the centre-halves has come into midfield to help the two midfield boys out, you know.
That's what's got to happen in this system,
yeah,
right? Given away, and now picked up by Mainu, who slips it wide. Casemiro over the top of the goalkeeper and away past the left-hand upright. Well, mistakes were made at the back there, gifting the ball to Kobbie Mainu, who slipped it into the 18-yard box. Casemiro's got to finish it, hasn't he?
It's a brilliant chance. Best chance of the half for Manchester United. Cher, don't know what he's doing. Talk about concentration. Flicked it with the outside of his foot, straight into Mainu's path, takes his time. Little reverse pass for Casemiro to bend it into the corner, and he just overdoes it a little bit. Scoops it rather than whips it. Great opportunity to get themselves back in.
He actually had time to take a touch.
I would be rocketing Cher if I was the manager or his teammate, because that...
Well, that was the opening of the door to let Manchester United back in, wasn't it?
Such a basic mistake.
Mainu causing Joe Linton a bit of a problem. Given away by De Ligt. Manchester United have gifted it back to Newcastle. Tonali out to the right. I'm sure Eddie Howe will be going in at half-time saying, look, we can finish this game. We can have an easier second half if we want one, or we can make this painful for ourselves if we don't switch on.
Well, yeah, you've got to stay focused. But you don't have to go crazy for the third goal. You just have to be really well organised. Keep the ball, slow the game down, wait for it to open up, which it will as the game gets... People get more tired and the game gets more stretched.
And Manchester United get more desperate.
Yeah, because if the centre-half does start coming out to try and make up the numbers, there's more space for people to run into.
Brilliant from Gordon, who was going back the way and sent a reverse ball into Bruno Guimaraes. He didn't make the most of that, Newcastle. And Amad Diallo has escaped down the right-hand side. But 4 Newcastle players immediately come out to give him attention.
Brilliant.
Excellent defensive work, hunting impacts to ensure that nothing causes them grief before the end of the game. Or the half, I should say. Well, they've been at it, Newcastle.
They have, but they've got to maintain the levels. Don't get sloppy, silly passes. Don't make sure you still track the runners.
Well, there's boos at half-time from the Manchester United supporters, because although Newcastle's December looks like finishing in style, we'll probably get 5 stars should it stay like this. Manchester United's first half performance was incredibly poor. The first half an hour even more so. Ruben Amorim had to make a change after 32 minutes and bring on Kobbie Mainu, dragging off Joshua Zirkzee. But by then, Alexander Isak and Joe Linton had already given Newcastle a 2-0 lead. And in truth, after Tonali hit the post, Isak missed another big chance, and other options were available to Newcastle in that first half. It could already be over. It might already be over. Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2.
Talksport's YouTube channel has a brilliant Manchester United show called Inside Devils. The next one is tomorrow. Alex Crook, Flex, Angelina Kelly, all big United fans. They're going to be angry, very angry, unless something incredible happens in the second half. So check that out. Inside Devils on Talksport's YouTube channel. Talksport's Alex Crook has called the performance utterly pathetic on social media, adding relegation's too good for this spineless bunch. United haven't had a shot on target in that first half. Even when gifted chances, they can't finish them off. One of Casemiro's shots ended up at the Trafford's Park Centre, I think. It was just an extraordinarily bad effort. Man United have now conceded 18 goals in all competitions in December, and there might even be more to come. That's the most they've conceded in a single month since March 1964. Incredible. And for half an hour at least, it was a mess from Amorim. Manchester United. The fans were seething. United couldn't defend. They were overrun in midfield. Their attack was non-existent. Newcastle were 2 up inside 20 minutes. Isak missed a sitter as well. Tonali hit the post when he should have scored. Hall forced a save from Onana. Isak had one disallowed. Newcastle were all over them. Barely half an hour was gone. Amorim realised he picked the wrong team. Xerxes taken off. Would not surprise me if he never plays for United again with the window about to open. Danny Murphy, Newcastle have got better players, a better team, better organisation. They're better coached. Manchester United have been absolutely garbage, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, God, where'd you start? The problem is when you're tactically being outdone by the other team because you've set up wrong, the players start becoming confused at what they're doing and who they're marking, who they're picking up, and that in turn affects you physically because you always feel like you're in between and you're getting overrun. So you look more lethargic and less athletic than the opposition because it feels like there's more of them, and you're looking around. Why is there more of them? Who's picking him up? Why have I got two men here? Why is this a 3v2? What's going on? And that's where I think the bigger responsibility in this is the manager. He's persisting with this way of trying to play that doesn't suit what they've got on that pitch today. You can see it so clear. They've got a lack of legs, and to play that system, you need legs. And they haven't got legs, Man U. So you've got to respect the opposition. They've got quality forward players who are quick. You've got three real intelligent, experienced midfielders. The first thing you do is go man for man with them. You can't leave a 3v2 with that quality. And then you'd be hard to beat until you get yourself going in the game, and you've got your quick players on the break, whether it be Ahmad, whether it be Rashford, Garnacho. You've got to have a plan when you come on the pitch. I didn't see it. I don't see what. There wasn't this overly brilliant possession from United trying to play through the lines. There wasn't counters. And defensively, I mean, what was Martinez doing on the halfway line?
When he let Isaac through, and it was a poor finish in the end, but this is the captain tonight, Lisandro Martinez.
He's an international footballer. He knows once he goes into the attacking half, you turn around, you see where the forward is. He's standing on the halfway line. He's onside. Oh, I better go back. No.
It's almost like he didn't realise you can't be offside in your own half.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. And I would question Amorim, and I know Xerxes is getting a lot of grief on social media. I really appreciate some of the fans applauding Xerxes because, listen, I don't think he's a Man United level footballer. He certainly hasn't shown it as yet. He was being asked to do things he can't do. You're right, there will be an overrun. But it's like Ruben Amorim has not watched Newcastle United because we all knew what was coming.
Yeah.
We talked about their strength in midfield before the game. And then he's got three centre-backs. And you're right about the legs. You mentioned Collier and Mainu, the midfielders who could make a difference. Yoro, you mentioned as well. He's on the bench when you've got three slow coaches as centre-half. You might as well be playing two centre-halves. That's where they've got three centre-halves and none of them can defend or run, it's an extraordinary team selection from Ruben Amorim. And after a month, we're questioning the manager again.
I think any manager, whether things are going well or not, can pick a team sometimes and it doesn't work out of formation, and quickly you can see it's going wrong.
Yeah.
And especially after an early goal, because confidence drops. The key to it is adapting quickly. Adapt quickly, because the obvious things here was the complete domination of the first half an hour from the middle of the park for Newcastle. And it, as I said when he made the change, and I don't think he's really fixed it yet, because Eriksen's kind of caught between that left side and coming in on Tonali. The system looks pretty similar. He might bring one of the centre-halves further forward to help the midfielders, but I couldn't believe it took him so long to notice.
Could he have possibly moved, say, De Ligt into midfield, played two centre-halves, which goes against what he wants to do? We know he wants to play 3-4-3. But that would have been an instant kind of solution to that midfield problem that was right in front of his eyes. He waited half an hour till there were two down. They could have been 4 or 5 down. He waited half an hour to make a substitution. Even then, you were talking about Eriksen being advanced and then there was still being overrun in midfield.
I think the obvious thing to do was go 3-5-2. So you match up in the middle and you say to Ahmad, play as a 10, or Xerxes, play as a 10, stay on Tonali.
Just drop deeper.
Drop deeper, play on Tonali, and you go 2 up top against their 2 centre-halves. And then you've got the wide issue. Fine, at least you're covered in the middle. The thing, I don't even think the last part of the first half, where Martinez was leaving the other 2 to go in on Bruno to try and help the midfield 2, I don't think that was Amorim. I think that was Martinez doing it off his own back because he was getting frustrated.
Right.
I don't think that was a tactical thing.
What we must do is also praise Newcastle. Joe Linton's been outstanding. Anthony Gordon's
they've been bang at it.
They've been sensationally good, haven't they? They're right at the peak of their powers right now, aren't they?
Well, if you look at all sections of the pitch for them, Back four, well organised, bang at it. Murphy's been coming back helping. Gordon's been coming back helping when they need it. So, the midfield three we've talked about. The three front players constantly trying to get in behind, which is exactly what you need at this level, especially against a back three who aren't quick. And the quality of the crosses and the quality of the little play around the box stuff has been really good. I mean, we're talking about players who are full of confidence after a few good wins, and it's like chalk and cheese, this game. It's like, do you know what it looks like? That first half, to me, and I'm not exaggerating, that looked like an FA Cup tie where you've got a Premier League side and maybe, a lower champ or a League One side who've come for a day out and they're just struggling with it. The occasion's got too much for them.
Yeah. Quick one on Joe Linton. I think it's been a 10 out of 10 performance first half from Joe Linton. Do you remember when he was in the side and we all thought he was terribly
an average striker?
Fortune, yeah. We didn't know what the point of Joe Linton was. We're seeing the very best of this Brazilian now, aren't we?
He's technically very good for a big man, and he's physically as strong as they come. Full of confidence, gets in the box, knocks people about, takes the ball in possession in good area, like dangerous areas. I said it in my commentary, I would absolutely hate to play against him. That's the biggest compliment I can give him. And there wasn't many players I thought that about, but he is one. He got a bit fortunate with the goal, because maybe it did come off the shoulder or the arm, and
could have. They could have looked at it in more detail, but the goal stood, and Newcastle are 2-0 up.
They deserved it.
Yeah, they do, and it could be worse for Man United. The next goal absolutely crucial in this game. This team talk at half-time from Amorim, absolutely vital. Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2. Elsewhere, Villa 1, Brighton 1. And Ipswich leading Chelsea 1-0 as well. That penalty, by the way, I've seen it. How the penalty hasn't been overturned, I do not know. It looks to me like a massive dive from Liam Delap. So if
really?
Well, if Kieran McKenna ever turns around and says big clubs get the decision, just remind him of the game tonight, because boy did they get a big decision there. As it stands, they're heading for their first home win of the season. But here at Old Trafford on game nights, it is Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2.
Monday game night on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Psst, did you know you can order McDelivery deals? Like the Feed the Family deal for just $14.99. That's 4 selected burgers, 2 medium fries and 2 small fries. Who's in then?
Oh yeah, me.
And me. McDelivery. You in? Delivery only from 11 a.m. 4 times selected burgers, 4 times selected fries. Subject to availability. Price, delivery fee and participation may vary.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a treehouse in the garden.
I'm living my perfect childhood.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Sack the gaffer. You need thesun.co.uk. Bagged a big move? Check out thesun.co.uk.
Oh, come on, Rav!
Never a pen? Read thesun.co.uk. Seen red? See thesun.co.uk. Whatever's going on in the game, whenever you want it, wherever you are, from goals to gossip and everything football, it's got to be thesun.co.uk.
You could skydive out of a plane or swim with sharks. You might even skinny dip in icy cold waters. Or you could get that inexpressible high, that guaranteed rush from finding just the thing you wanted, the thing you needed, at a great sale price. Winter sale ends soon. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
At Betfair, we believe that to play different, you need the right tools. The boots, the world-class tactics, the science-backed nutrition. The pros have their tools, and with Betfair, so do you. Our safer gambling tools work just like the right pair of boots, designed to keep you on top of your game. Open the Betfair app to equip yourself so you can bet at your best. Betfair. Play different.
18 plus begambleaware.org.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. And drink up. Village Hotels. 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
The Screwfix sale is now on, and it's big! Save a big £15 on the Gold Screw Trade Pack, now only $19.99. And grab the Stanley Organizer for just $9.99, saving you a big £10. Hurry, the sale must end on the 5th of January. It's big. Delivery fees may apply, subject to availability. See screwfix.com for full T's and C's.
Monday game night on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van.
Live Premier League football on a Monday night.
Have we got something special for you?
Setting the gold standard of out-and-out, fully compostable football commentary.
Game night on Talksport.
Game night on Talksport. I'm Adrian Durham, live at Old Trafford, where Man United have been terrible. They're 2-0 down at home to Newcastle United. Second half to come. Live on Talksport. 2 other Premier League games ongoing, and we've got goals. Let's go to Ipswich. There's been another goal there. Ian Abrahams.
9 minutes into the second half. Ipswich 2, Chelsea 0. It's the former Chelsea Academy star who made one appearance for the first team. Amari Hutchinson with a goal, but he owes everything to Liam Delap's unselfishness. Picked up the ball, ran into the penalty area, held it up, waited for Hutchinson on the edge of the penalty area. He made room for a shot across Jorgensen into the far corner. It's tough on Chelsea. Cole Palmer's hit post and bar. Felix, who's just gone off to be replaced by Jackson, had a goal disallowed, but Chelsea are now going to have to score 3 if they're going to go second in the Premier League. Ipswich could be on course for their first home win in the top flight in more than 22 years. It is Ipswich 2, Chelsea 0.
This is a Man City style blip from Chelsea, and a goal at Villa Park. Jeff Peters.
It's Aston Villa 2, Brighton 1. They've turned it round. Ollie Watkins levelled things up, and he's now provided the assist for Morgan Rogers early in the second half. Lovely little pass. Excellent control on the chest from Rogers, and then a right foot finish across the keeper Verbruggen into the far corner. His 6th league goal of the season. He has been booked tonight, Rogers, and he will miss the league game against Leicester at the weekend. But Villa have their noses in front. They lead Brighton 2-1.
All right, let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5 Plus acca lets you down. Pre-match straight line accas only. Odds are 3-1 or greater. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Well, Man United to win 20-1. The draw 8-1. The Newcastle win 1-10. Harry Maguire, Dan Burn to score a header was 10-1. Price boosted to 14-1. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus. begambleaware.org. Second half underway. Here's Danny Murphy and Sam Matterface.
Well, if Manchester United are to win this game, they're going to have to come from 2 goals behind in order to do it. They did do that once upon a time when Rafa Benitez was in charge of Newcastle United. And they won 3-2 with a last-minute goal. But Newcastle United have long memories. They know they don't win here very often. They're determined to try and get over the line this time around, and they had 2 warnings just before the break, which may well have just served as encouragement to Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall just to reset their players' mindset at the break. I'll go through the 2 11s in just a second. No changes since the one that Manchester United made on the 32nd minute when Kobbie Mainoo came into midfield to replace Joshua Zirkzee. Ball sent forward out to Alexander Isak, and then guided back by Maguire and De Ligt all the way to the goalkeeper Andre Onana. In front of him tonight, De Ligt, Maguire, Martinez, the wing-backs Mazraoui and Dalot, Casemiro and Mainoo now in midfield with Eriksen just further on. Amad Diallo playing a little bit wide actually on the right-hand side in support of Rasmus Højlund tonight. For Newcastle United, it's Dubravka in goal, Trippier, Schär, Byrne and Hall, Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali and Joe Linton. Tonali hit the post in the first half. Murphy and Gordon, who set up one of the goals. Isak, who scored the first, leads the line. Danny Murphy is here. What do you expect from the second half from Newcastle United?
Good game management, more quality football. but I expect a real different Man United. Want a reaction, energy, tenacity. Got to be some sort of reaction to that.
Trippier sends the ball into the penalty area. Byrne goes down, looks for a penalty. Referee doesn't give it, and it was half-hearted, the appeal anyway. Tonali wins the ball back far side, wiring in to Rasmus Højlund. Travels out towards the touchline, it goes out of play, and Mazraoui then sees it back to his goalkeeper, Onana, and then out to the left and Martinez. Only once have Newcastle won here in the Premier League. In fact, they have won here once in the league since 1973. Yohan Cabaye scored the only goal in a 1-0 win 11 years ago under Alan Pardew. Surely they can't throw this one away. Here's Casemiro. Inside the centre circle, Manchester United in red shirts, white shorts, black socks, attacking the goal away to our left-hand side. And the Stretford end is their destination in this second 45. It's black and white striped jerseys for Newcastle and black shorts, white socks attacking the scoreboard end. That's away to our right side. We're just right at the halfway line, about 20 yards from the dugouts, and Casemiro's floating the ball into the Newcastle penalty area, headed away by Byrne. Comes back down and he hoiks it further clear with a big volley out to the far side, which Gordon is going to stop from going out. He's going to take the ball down, play it up to Isak. Isak will return it out to Gordon, and Gordon will go over halfway. And then he'll go back, knowing that there is no route forward, and Newcastle will play their way through again. Tonali.
He's been terrific, Tonali.
Isak on halfway, cannons off Mainu, goes out of play. It's a Newcastle United throw on halfway line.
I think that position really suits him, so he's so comfortable getting the ball. He's got the whole game ahead of him when he turns on it, and he's got two really clever footballers in front of him as well who can give the ball to and get it back all the time in Joe Linton and Gomes.
And I think the other thing about changing that position and making him the central cog in that wheel has allowed Bruno Guimaraes to get a little bit further forward.
And he likes that, doesn't he?
Well, certainly a very good first half performance from Newcastle and a shoddy one from Manchester United. Newcastle have been bright at the start of the second halves this season too. They've scored 9 goals in the Premier League in the first 15 minutes of second halves, which is the most in the Premier League. So Manchester United will need to beware. Diego Dalot sends it long up to Højlund, who holds it up in a fight with Cher. Back to Casemiro, then on to Amad Diallo, out towards the right-hand side, and Mazraoui just progresses over the halfway line, then nudges it down the touchline towards Amad Diallo. He's being tracked by Gordon. He has to twist back and come into the centre field, where it's collected by Mainu as a first-half substitute. Ruben Amorim just trying to calm his players down. Maguire hesitant on the ball at the base of that defence, plays it to De Ligt, who elevates it up towards Højlund, away by Byrne. Headed down, but Mazraoui is going to get there first. He gets there over on the far side and then feeds it in towards Mainu. Mainu nudges it left onto Casemiro, passes it wide. Mazraoui the cross in towards Højlund, and the first contact is a Cher touch, and it goes over the top of the crossbar, and it's out for a corner kick for Manchester United, the first of the second half. And the next goal's so important in this game. If Manchester United get it, we might have a game on our hands.
Yeah, it's a good ball from Mazraoui. Just dropped off a little bit deep, Newcastle there. Didn't get the pressure that we saw in the first half. Sometimes you do that, especially early in the second half when you're protecting a 2-0 lead. Don't take any risks and go out and press, but you have to. You still have to get up to the ball.
Here's the corner in towards the near post. It's travelled all the way through the 6-yard box, and it comes back out to Mazraoui, who tries to nudge it into the box. And well, Newcastle have been really good against set pieces this season. In fact, against corners, it's now over 100 corners that they've faced this season. They've only conceded from 1. But that was slightly dicey, that. And then Joel Linton and Tonali have just got in each other's way. The ball has bounced kindly for Eriksen. Manchester United on the edge of the box, send it wide to Casemiro. He's on the left side of the area, produces a right-footed cross to the outside of his boot, which bends straight into the arms of Dubravka, who comes and claims it.
He's unlucky. I know they're not happy with him in a minute, the fans, Casemiro, but it's the right type of ball to try and play.
United win it back again on halfway. Maguire. Martinez. A swig of the water bottle from Ruben Amorim in his black puffer jacket down in front of us and grey slacks, which only just come above his ankles. Black socks on and bright white trainers shining in the floodlights here at Old Trafford.
He'll be reasonably pleased with the start of the second half. Been a bit better, only just.
Stephen scores for Wimbledon. 1-0 they lead against Gillingham in League Two. And Johnny Jackson's doing a very good job at Wimbledon. I bumped into him the other day. He's in good spirits, the Wimbledon boss.
Yeah, he's a great lad.
He is, really is a good lad. Here is Paul feeding Isaac, but he's not going to get there ahead of Martinez, who just put on the afterburners and just got ahead of the Swede and nudged it back to his goalkeeper. But it'll come back again through Joel Linton, and then Bruno Guimaraes, who is chopped down by Martinez rather agriculturally, and it's going to be a free kick 10 yards in front of the centre circle. Simon Hooper blows the whistle very quickly, and Manchester United's now set-piece coach, assistant manager Carlos Fernandez, comes out to the edge of the technical area to deal with their set-pieces, which are, well, they haven't been handled very well in recent weeks, that is for sure.
Do you know what's crazy is they all stand in this technical... I can tell you no player is looking over and asking him what to do at this point. They're doing what they've obviously done on the training pitch or before the game, and they're not looking over and seeing his hand signals and changing what they do.
Are you saying it's for the cameras?
Yeah.
53 gone.
Exactly what I'm saying.
Kieran Trippier is standing over the set piece. Isaac has peeled away to the left edge of the box, and they can go either way here. They have Isaac and Byrne on one side of the line, Guimaraes and Cher on the other. They've sent it short, then Murphy dollops it over the top. It's headed away by Maguire, comes to absolutely nothing, and then Trippier sees it back to his goalkeeper.
Did you just say he's dolloped it?
Yeah. Up out towards the far side. Well, he's trying to use a range from the lexicon.
Oh, nice.
Lovely feet by Mainu into Højlund. Højlund back to Eriksson. Eriksson out towards the near side, and now Manchester United on the attack with Martinez, who wants to slide it through to Højlund inside the area. He tries to hold off to Kieran Trippier and get it back to Amad Diallo, who cuts in right-footed, shoots, hits the back of Tonali. Casemiro wins it. Tonali very quickly up the pitch to close him down. But Martinez has it on this near touchline, and Manchester United are coming forward. 54 on the clock. Dallo trying to take on Murphy. Can they give their fans a bit of hope? They were frustrated at half-time and furious in that first half. Manchester United trying to find a way through. Newcastle in a good shape behind the ball. Set up well. Martinez again, looking to nudge it back infield towards Mainu. Mainu tries to pierce the lines with a ball through to Casemiro, gets it back again. Mazraoui, who's wandered into midfield, centrally now lays it off to Martinez, but there's no real room for them to progress forward here, Manchester United, and Isaac has pinched the ball from Casemiro, and now a chance for Newcastle to break, and Isaac goes over the halfway line, feeds it into Gordon. Gordon cuts infield now, needs another out ball, but again, no need to risk it. So he comes backwards.
Well, that's the balance, actually, Sam. There is no need to risk it, but sometimes there is. Go and kill it. Play with the same intensity of 0-0 to get the game done. It's a delicate balance. Do you risk the ball and try and kill it off, or do you just throw it down? And that's always a dilemma, and that's why sometimes you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. If they control the game really well and walk away with 2-0, United don't have many chances. Everyone says really well managed. You know, when you can see United here for the taking, and they go back when they're in good positions to attack them and play balls in behind. And I think Kieran Trippier is struggling. Livramento.
Yes, I think that might well be his hamstring that has just gone.
I think it happened a little while ago because Livramento was already getting ready.
Yeah, and he has just been called back from his warm-up, which has been taking place away to our left-hand side. And Tino Livramento is going to replace Kieran Trippier, who hasn't seen much action this season because of injury, and then because Livramento has probably gone above him in the pecking order. And Livramento is on now to take the place of Kieran Trippier for the final 35 minutes of the game. It's 2-0 to Newcastle here. What's going on at Ipswich? Any sign of a Chelsea fight back to Sports Ian Abrahams?
Not really. Ipswich 2, Chelsea 0 midway through the second half. Now Enzo Maresca has Jackson and Sancho on the pitch. But to be honest with you, Chelsea haven't looked like scoring in this second half. Ipswich 2, Chelsea 0.
I thought they did really well in the second half of the game against Arsenal, Ipswich, and they'll be delighted if they get their first win at Portman Road tonight.
Isak's got to do better there.
He's held onto the ball, but not long enough. He's given it away to Maguire, who's turned it over on halfway, out to the left-hand side. It's collected by Dallo. Newcastle lead by 2-0. At a pivotal point in the game. Actually, Trippier has come off and gone back on again. He's got a hamstring injury, but he's running back on to the field of play.
Might just be a bit of cramp.
Might be. But Tino Livramento is about to come on. Here is Casemiro, little back heel, finds Mainu, and then he can't find Hoyland, and then Tonali and Joe Linton wrestle for the ball, and Guimaraes in there as well. Casemiro with a blood and thunder challenge. The ball spills out to the left wing position, and Dalot tries to get across, and it's blocked by Kieran Trippier, and it goes out of play on this near side.
What was great about that is the urgency of the doubling up from wide areas when someone's going to get a crossing.
Trippier coming off. He's not happy about it, I don't think. I think he wanted to stay on, actually.
He's done well, he's played well. Looks sharp.
But he comes off now, and he's taking his time to come off the pitch because he wants to make sure that they get set for this throw-in, which is about to take place down by the corner flag that Manchester United are going to try and construct and toss into the box here. He gets a round of applause from the Newcastle supporters, a clap of the hands from his manager Eddie Howe, and Tino Livramento takes his position at right full-back. Here is the throw for Manchester United, who are behind by 2-0.
I think the set-piece coach is going to go and head this in.
Yes, he's gone right down the touchline, hasn't he? In order to deal with this. Everybody watches on in anticipation. Can Manchester United find a way back into this game? Throw in from Dalot, left side. Launches it in towards the near post. Flicked on by Casemiro. Helped on by Eriksen. It's in the air. There's a fight for the ball. It comes to Mainu, who strikes it. Blocked by Lewis Hall. Comes out to the edge of the area, and now Ahmad tries to scoot down the right side. Turns it back into Mainu. Mainu needs support. Eriksen lifts it towards the far post. Casemiro with a header. It drops inside the box. It's still not clear. And away by Lewis Hall, and now Dalot works it back from Maguire, and Manchester United try and keep the pressure on.
Better from Manu. Bit more urgency. Mainu's doing better, getting on the ball, making things happen.
Here he is, speeding it into the path of Dalot. Dalot takes on Murphy, goes on the outside, produces a left-footed cross. It's a diving header off the post from Maguire, comes back towards the Ligt. It's blocked and squirms away to safety. And then at the other end, Isaac chases down the long ball, which was almost reached by Mazraoui, but that's got the Manchester United fans on their feet. A thwacking of the post. And as the ball came back into open play, Maguire felt as if he was going to get United back into the game. He thundered that ball goalwards, and the post is still rattling.
Yeah, it was a good header, good cross as well. So it's a decent reaction from Manu. They were down and out in that first half, and they've shown a bit of, well, they had to show a bit of fight. Of course they did.
Amad Diallo trying to get in the inside left channel. Across comes Cher, but again Diallo goes sliding in and just prevents him from getting a proper clearance on that. It goes out of play, and it's away for a throw-in to Newcastle United on this near side. 2-0 to Newcastle. We're hitting the hour mark live on Talksport. And remember, we've got more live football for you on Saturday when we bring you Newcastle's game against Tottenham Hotspur. A huge match that is for both Tottenham and Newcastle, especially if it stays like this.
Great block, wasn't it, from Lewis Hall? After it hit the post, it came to the lip. Lewis Hall dived in front of the ball, put his body on the line.
He's got that in a dangerous area, didn't he?
He did indeed.
Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2. Talksport with Sky Sports, and don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available on no contract with Now, like Manchester United versus Newcastle, live right now. Search Now Sports, they've won it again high up, and here's Hoyland running through. Across comes Dan Burn, and that ball is actually cleared up towards Alexander Isak, who moves down the right hand side. He's fouled by Martinez, and Martinez will be lucky here not to get a yellow card.
It is a yellow.
Because it's not just that one, but there's several others, and it is a yellow card for the Argentine.
They've got to be careful, Newcastle, in terms of taking their foot off the gas, because the game's there for them. They've just lost that impetus to want to go forward with the urgency, and they're happy sitting in and managing it, and that's what I was talking to you about before, Sam. Very difficult sometimes to find that balance. A bit more risk, and they'll get the reward. They haven't taken enough risk second half just yet. I think that's why Eddie Howe's contemplating some changes.
Well, they have a free kick on this near side. about a yard in from the touchline. It's 15 yards inside the Manchester United half, wide on the right-hand side. It's sent into the box. It's headed away by United. Casemiro was the one who got the final touch on it. Headed back by Murphy. Drops for Tonali and Mainu to fight for the ball. Ericsson comes and helps out his teammate. And then Casemiro is shut down by Joe Linton, but the ball ricochets kindly for Maguire, who clears up over the halfway line. Livramento helps it back to his goalkeeper. And Newcastle reset. Well, those changes, what are they going to be? Let's have a look down the touchline. Joe Willock is warming up.
Yeah, he's got good legs, great athleticism. That'd be sensible.
Harvey Barnes is down there too. Miggy Almiron as well. Here is Jacob Murphy. Back to Joel Linton in the centre circle for Newcastle United. Steps on the ball, turns the other way, plays it forward into Gordon, who comes in for off the touchline and feeds it into Murphy. They've come narrow here and worked the ball out wide to Livramento now, and then Gordon's gone down the right-hand side. He's held onto it well. He's pushed to the floor by Diogo Dalot, who did wrap his arm around Gordon. Gordon went down pretty cheaply, but he was right in front of the linesman.
It was a silly foul because he's going backwards. He's going back. He's got himself goal side. He's going backwards. He pulls him down.
It was an unnecessary thing to do from Diogo Dalot. Anthony Gordon being serenaded by the Newcastle fans. Alejandro Garnacho and Lenny Yoro about to come on for Manchester United.
Yeah, maybe because the Licks only just got back fit, doesn't want to. They haven't really been tested too much in this second half, the back three.
Here is the free kick to be taken by Lewis Hall on this near side.
Edge of the box, Murphy's free.
And so is Gordon. Alexander Isak is lurking with intent just inside the 18-yard box. It's Hall deep to the far post. It's headed away by De Ligt, who took charge of that. Isak scrambles towards the far left and then tries to take on Mazraoui, who holds firm. The ball bounces out of play and it's away for a throw-in 5 yards from the corner flag. So a couple of changes for Manchester United. Off comes Casemiro, on goes Garnacho. That's the first change. That's definitely not a like-for-like switch. And off comes Lisandro Martinez, who gives the captain's armband to Harry Maguire. And on comes Lenny Yoro.
He's not been at his best, that's for sure.
On he goes. So where is Garnacho going to play?
I would imagine Ericsson will drop in alongside Mainu, and Garnacho will be
Plays
one of the
10.
Yeah, well, or tucked in off that wide.
Here is the throw-in for Newcastle over on the far side. Maguire putting the armband on. I suppose that's quite significant after being stripped of it by Erik ten Hag. Back to the goalkeeper Dubravka. Hits it up towards the chest of Joel Linton, who juggles with it brilliantly.
Ooh,
and then sent down the left. And here is Gordon trying to get away from Mazraoui, who recovers brilliantly and flicks it out, but not out of the perimeter of the playing surface. It's retrieved by Isak. Isak lays it back off to Hall. It wasn't the best of balls, and then he plays it against De Ligt, and it's out for a throw-in.
Isak started wandering into wider areas. I think he needs to stay central, just give them someone to build off. I know he likes to drift to that left side and get on the ball, but at the moment, just to occupy give them a target, start building up again.
Not since 2016 have the Geordies won their final league fixture of a calendar year. And that was in the Championship. Not since 2014 have they done it in the Premier League. Their last away win at the turn of the year came in 1999. Usually these trips at this time of the year for those Newcastle fans are forlorn and end up being a disappointment. Oh, Lewis Hall might be onside here. He's trying to run and take on Onana. Onana comes out, cleans him out and takes the ball, and then the offside flag goes up. And that is why managers hate the delay of the flag.
I don't think Lewis Hall was offside. Not sure what he's...
And the reason managers hate the delaying of the flag there is because if that was offside and the assistant was going to stop it, there was a potential issue there where Hall could have got injured on a different moment.
Offside, actually. Yeah, just about. Right decision. We've got to start asking the question, haven't we, about why is Rashford on the bench if you're not going to use him when you're 2-0 down?
Well, I just wonder whether he was on the bench because he just needed to fill the bench. Here is Livramento taking it down, nudging it through to Tonali. Wants the return, Livramento. Oh, if Isak hadn't have got in the way, it would have gone all the way through. and Livramento would have been in behind the defence. But there was a little nudge of the hand from Isak.
Should know because of the pace of the ball. It wasn't the best ball from Tonali, to be fair.
67 on the clock. This is Talksport. Chelsea losing away at Ipswich. Aston Villa in front against Brighton, and Manchester United behind at home to Newcastle, and about to lose a third game in succession at home in the Premier League for the first time ever.
He's done well, Cher.
He's been brilliant tonight.
They've left him one-on-one with Højlund because they know he can cope, and he's just bit wise.
Wise, strong,
intelligent.
He anticipates the ball that's coming towards him. He knows when to dive in, when to hold off. He's an experienced Swiss international. Here's Fabian Schär, a ripe old age of 33 now. Got a great reading of the game. Ball forward for Gordon, and Hall to chase, and the Manchester United defence backed off, and Hall picked it up, and then he strikes it left-footed. When really he should have stopped and pulled it back for Gordon, who'd stopped his run, pulled off the defence, and actually just stood on the edge of the area and had a bit of space.
Well, they got lucky there because Isak mishit the pass. He was passing it to Gordon and mishit it to Hall. But still danger. You just see how he just pulls it. It's actually good defending from Maguire.
Let's head off to Villa Park. Jeff Peters.
Aston Villa still leading Brighton by 2-1. Seaman Adingra putting Brighton in front. Watkins penalty, and then Morgan Rogers getting Villa ahead early in the second half. Half chances at both ends, but Villa lead Brighton here 2-1.
Since Kobbie Mainoo came off the bench, Manchester United have had 8 shots, and Newcastle United have made just one opportunity. Neither of the two teams have hit the target, though, during that period. Which shows you actually that the level of control that Manchester United have had since that change, highlighting the issues that you spotted early in the game anyway.
Well, one thing you're missing is Newcastle gave them that control.
Because they'd already had the 2-0 lead.
Because they're 2-0, yeah. It's a nice start, and he has made a difference, but you've got to put it in perspective. Newcastle you go 2-0 up any game, you let a team have control, you wait, you play the game of chess.
Yeah, you're keeping them at arm's length.
Yeah.
This is Murphy into Tonali. Now on to Bruno Guimaraes, and now Joel Linton, who pokes it down the right, looking for Isak. He's trying to get better of Dalot. Dalot dives in but can't get it away from Isak. Isak again, who's quite wide on this right-hand side, trying to get past Dalot again, and skips past him, then skips in field, lays it off to Livramento, and then back to Tonali from Bruno Guimaraes. There's space for Murphy down this right side. Isak is in the centre. Guimaraes on the half turn, down to Livramento, cross into the box, and it flashes through the 6-yard area, and it's just behind Gordon. Hall slides to keep it in far side, and Newcastle on top again in the game. They lead by 2-0.
That was a chance. Great move, but Livramento, poor ball. He had 2 great options.
Tonali, he's got Murphy down the right side. It was a poor ball by him, but it's bounced kindly for Joel Linton. His control wasn't right. Garnacho trying to bring it away. Tonali wins it back. Newcastle win it back. And they turn it over again inside the Manchester United half. Have they just upped the tempo again? Yeah. Here's Isak into Bruno Guimaraes. Collision between Mainoo and Guimaraes, but Guimaraes gets straight back up. Mainoo stays down. Newcastle stay in possession and on the front foot as we hit the 70-minute mark, leading by 2-0. And it's sensible from Newcastle as they up the tempo, and then when they realised there was nowhere to go, they just went back to the halfway line, kept the ball, and went to build again from the back. Their away record hasn't been great over the last year and a bit. They've lost 12 of their last 23 Premier League road matches. They are looking to win back-to-back away games for the first time since January of this year. And this will be a big feather in Eddie Howe's cap, because the Geordie jaunts to Old Trafford usually end in tears. Here is Livramento. Back to Tonali, deep inside his own half. Tonali, the Italian, with his longish black hair.
Poor kick from the goalkeeper. That
awful from Dubravka. He's given it straight to Mazraoui, and he's invited Amad Diallo to tinker into the box. His shot is blocked by Bruno Guimaraes. It just spills out to the far side. Hall stops it from going out for a corner, and then kicks it up towards the halfway line. It was very good defending by Lewis Hall.
When a keeper kicks when you're winning a game, he's got to go longer than that, because then if you don't win it, it's fine, you're still in shape. But to try one where it can get cut out, it's just game management. We talk about it all the time. I talk about it all the time.
That's all right. You're not boring. You can repeat yourself. We don't mind. We're learning from you, Dan.
It's living on your own, that, talking to
Is
yourself,
it?
Yeah. You'll be there one day, don't worry.
Is that why you enjoy our Monday night soirees every week? And we'll have more Monday night soirees for you throughout the course of 2025. In fact, I'm really looking forward to some of the games we've got upcoming on a Monday night. Here is Amad Diallo, Wolves Nottingham Forest on Monday. That's going to be a belter, I think. Here on the right-hand side is Mazraoui into the penalty area. It's away by Murphy. And he's hoiked that to the halfway line.
Isak's looking a little bit tired. He's put a shift in.
Just wonder whether or not they might change that now. They do have Willa Sula on the bench as well, who they got from Sheffield United for £10 million, a young striker. They might turn to Joe Willock, I think, and maybe put Gordon through the middle. That's an option for Eddie Howe. Here is Garnacho down the left. 17 minutes to go. Manchester United need a goal, but they've got to at least register a shot on target if they're going to do that. Out it goes to the right-hand side. Amad Diallo for Manchester United on the attack. Gets to the byline. The tackle comes in from Lewis Hall. Again, really good defending by Lewis Hall. And he puts it out for a corner, but he claims actually the last touch came off the Ivorian.
He's been really good, Lewis Hall, but I mean, he has had some wonderful help from Gordon. Newcastle do that really well when they play well. Their wide men don't protect their fullbacks when they're up against good
It's a lesson for other teams that don't do that, isn't it?
Well, it's basics, really. I mean, we say it like it's something that should be applauded. It should be normal.
Here's the cross into the box, aimed towards Lenny Loro, and Yoro manages to rise and head the ball well wide. Well, he got up above the marker, but it was
unlucky.
Away from the right-hand upright from Lenny Yoro, the young 19-year-old who signed from Lille. Got up well.
Yeah, didn't track him. Poor that from Newcastle.
That's unlike Newcastle from corners. 17 to go. Ruben Amorim still stalking the touchline. Still perplexed as to why his team played so badly in that first half. Ball out wide towards Isak on the left-hand side, and then the flag goes up. I think Isak was the one who was offside actually here.
He was, but why didn't he just stick it out? He shouldn't be offside though. It's poor from Isak. It's lazy.
He's gifted the ball back to Manchester United. Garnacho has it. Down the left he goes. He plays it against Murphy. Comes back by Guimaraes. He's dragged to the floor by Eriksson. It's going to be a free kick on halfway. Tonali just turning around and asking for a yellow card there. It's not going his way. Bruno Guimaraes is the subject of the Bruno chant. They hear that quite a lot in here, but usually for their own captain rather than the captain of Newcastle.
He's got great feet. He's a very clever footballer, Bruno.
He's
not quite got the legs
of the team, I think.
He's not quite got the speed or athleticism of the other two, but he's got a great engine and he covers the ground well.
There's only one Bruno. Well, there certainly is tonight because the other one's suspended and is not available for Manchester United this evening. Livramento throws it into Tonali on halfway. Garnacho putting him under pressure. Goes back to Fabian Schär. Schär in the right fullback position to Tonali, to Livramento's first time ball up to Isak. Isak again. He's coming back from an offside position. But he's scored 6 in 6 consecutive Premier League games. Alexander Isak.
Oh yeah, he's brilliant. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's when you're tired, you still got to put the graft in. It's lazy. Doesn't need to be offside again. It's 2 on the spin.
I was about to say, but he has just come off the bridle in the last 10 minutes or so. I think Toby Collier is about to enter the fray. Is that possible? Well, I think, possibly. He's just come back from warming up. Still, Newcastle warm up their substitutes away to our left-hand side. Lenny Yoro up to Mainu, left side of the centre circle, then into Eriksson, who's right in the middle. He pokes it left to Mainu once again. Mainu with a long-sleeve Manchester United jersey on to Garnacho, and then all the way back to halfway line where Mainu sees it across to Matthijs de Ligt. Mazraoui on to Amad Diallo, and he's kicked it straight out of the play. Has there been enough cut and thrust and urgency from Manchester United to go and chase the goal to get them back in this game?
Not enough, no. It's been better. I mean, you can't go completely gung-ho and start running all over the place and going man for man. You'll get torn apart, but against this particular team, but it's been better without the real urgency you expect from Man United being 3-0 down. The question is, are they capable of having that desire and that energy? I mean, if you look at the midfield players who've been on the pitch for Manchester United today, you could argue that none of them would get in Newcastle's midfield three.
Well, they've got a combined age, Eriksen and Casemiro, of 64.
No, but I mean anyone in their squad. Any midfielder in Man United's squad probably doesn't get in this Newcastle side.
No. The athleticism and dynamism and intensity of that Newcastle midfield, physicality of that Newcastle midfield is just better than anything Manchester United have got to offer. It's currently Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2. The latest odds are available at Ladbrokes, but right now you can back Manchester United to win at 40-1. Newcastle to win is the 25-1 on shot, and the draw is 12-1. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18+ Speed Gamble Aware. Goal at Villa Park, Jeff Peters.
The equaliser, Villa 2, Brighton 2, scored by Tariq Lamptey. João Pedro to Matoma, back to João Pedro, touched on to Lamptey, just edge of the penalty area. Super first time finish, really good low goal. Villa 2, Brighton 2.
And let's go off to Fulham Road and find out what's happening with Talksport's Ian Abrahams.
We're going into the last minute of the 90 here. Goals from Delap in the first half, Hutchison in the second. That first Premier League home win in 22 years is within touching distance. Ipswich 2, Chelsea 0.
Liam Delap and Amari Hutchison, the goal scorers tonight. Not born when Ipswich last won at home in the Premier League. Then Chelsea came along. Chelsea made some significant changes tonight, actually. That might well be picked over in the sports bar. Here is Lenny Yoro out to the far side. Matthijs de Ligt now given away by Ahmed Diallo, and Gordon's got it. I don't know who he was trying to get that to, but it wasn't Isaac. And it's given away to Manchester United, who look to try and build from deep. 11 minutes to go. I don't feel like there's a Manchester United comeback coming. I don't know about you.
You know, one goal can change a game. I mean, there could be a set play, a deflected shot. I'm a bit surprised, actually, not just at the United subs and the lack of Rashford. We understand the politics behind that. Why put him on the bench in the first place? But Eddie, really, looking at this, there's been so many players who've put in a hell of a shift. He's got a really strong bench. Use the freshness and the energy in the legs.
Well, they've got Tottenham on Saturday, live on Talksport. They've got Arsenal away in the League Cup, live on Talksport. Then they've got Bromley at home in the FA Cup, Wolves at home, Bournemouth at home, and Southampton away. They could have a December to remember and a January that goes quite well for them as well. Anthony about to come on, and Amorim is being taunted by the Newcastle supporters. Marcus Rashford just sits on the bench as Anthony gets ready to come on and try and change the course of this game. Cher and Højlund get involved in a wrestling match. This time Cher is penalised as he drags the Dane to the floor.
You see, the thing is with putting Rashford on the bench and having no intention of using him, so what you're doing is you're saying to him, look, you've worked hard, I'm going to reward you and put you on the bench. What you're actually doing is causing yourself more problems, because the player gets really annoyed at you because you put you on the bench and they're never going to use you because you're 2-0 down. He's putting everyone but Rashford on. And then the crowd and the journalists start all asking questions. You were better just leave and doing what you're doing.
Well, he did ask to leave. He has told everybody he wants a new challenge.
Yeah, which is his fault.
In an unsanctioned interview.
His fault.
Which he didn't give anyone any notice of. So he's got questions to answer as Højlund tries to get in round the back from the free kick.
You're spot on, Sam. But Amorim has put him back in. Don't do that then. Stick to your guns, because if you've got no intention of using him, you're only causing more problems.
I think, and we'll have to check this, Fabian Cher, I think he was just booked there for that challenge. If he was, he's going to be suspended for Saturday's game away at Tottenham Hotspur. That question about Rashford and not using him might well come up on the sports bar later. 03717223344. Certainly there'll be a discussion about this game and many others with Natalie Sawyer and Gabby Agbonlahor tomorrow morning from 10 o'clock live on Talksport, the breakfast show, and then Crookie and I will do the same from 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. We've got lots to get through. Lovely little nutmeg by Bruno Guimaraes on Alejandro Garnacho.
Isak's not there. He needs him.
He takes the ball out towards the right touchline, but there's no option for Guimaraes, and he runs the ball out of play. It's picked up just inside the Manchester United half. 82 on the clock now. You're listening to Talksport, and it's Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 2. Chelsea about to lose at Portman Road. And Ipswich win for the first time in the Premier League this season at home. Here is Garnacho down the left-hand side for Manchester United. Back it goes towards Dalot. Dalot with a chance to cross. Instead he goes centrally to Eriksson. Then Mainu, who flicks it into the box. Mazraoui heads it back towards Amad Diallo, who can't strike because Gordon is there. The ball ricochets into the air. It might drop for Højlund on the turn. Offside. Smacks it back, and then Eriksson over the bar, but an offside flag went up a little while ago. And it's going to be a free kick to Newcastle United. Aston Villa 2, Brighton 2 is the latest scoreline. They're coming into the last few minutes of that game. Kicked off at 7:45. Matthias de Ligt comes off, and on comes Anthony. So Mazraoui will go into the back three, and Anthony will go as the wing back over on the far side, the right. And they do score more goals when they have an attacking winger in the wing back role. That was proved by statistics prior to the match. When Anthony and Ahmad are in that position on the right, they've scored 9 goals, Manchester United. When Mazraoui has been in that position, or Dalot at right wing back, they haven't scored any.
So you've got Murphy, who's put a hell of a shift in, stretching his muscles, calf. Isak hasn't made any runs in 10 minutes because he's knackered, because he's worked so hard, and they haven't made the subs. I'm always amazed how it takes so long.
Well, they're going to make 2 subs now. Barnes and Willock about to come on. Here is Amad Diallo on to Anthony. Back to Anthony from Diallo. Right side, Manchester United on the attack here. It's Mainu who scurries forward, then leaves it for Amad Diallo, whose cross is too big and it flies through the 18-yard box and goes out. And here are the 2 substitutes. And Harvey Barnes and Joe Willock about to come on. A few Manchester United fans see that as a signal to go and get the tram. Danny was hoping for a 3rd goal earlier in the game because he hoped that way the traffic would ease a little bit quicker. Got a big drive tonight. You'll have to listen to the Sports Bar with Majestic and Darren Ambrose. Great entertainment incoming, and we'll have live interviews from the tunnel as I speak to Anne Marin and Eddie Howe tonight, straight after we finish.
I've got one of your podcasts on my phone as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
I haven't done one of those for nearly a week, Dan, so it might be out of date now. But we will do one tomorrow. Premier League All Access will be released by tomorrow lunchtime, reviewing all of the action from over the Christmas period. I look forward to that. Alex Crook and Scott Minto with me tomorrow morning. We'll record that and that'll be up on all of the sites that you get your podcasts from.
So I haven't given mention to tonight, Dan Burn.
Yeah.
I think he's been absolutely terrific recently, and I questioned whether he could play that central defensive role in a 4, with the lack of pace. And he doesn't get himself exposed very often because of his intelligence, and he's learned to play the role well. The Botman's been out a long time.
They've needed him in that period, haven't they?
They have. And he's done really, really well. Great lad, decent footballer, threatened both boxes, obviously good in both boxes.
And desperate to make an impact because of his local association.
Yeah. No, he goes about his business in a really understated manner.
Murphy off and Barnes on. And Barnes has gone out to the far side. I think is it Gordon who's come off as well over on the far touchline. And on has come Willock. Yeah, I think Gordon's come off on the far touchline and is walking behind the scoreboard end away to our right. The party is on at Portman Road. Ian Abrahams.
It is Ipswich 2, Chelsea 0 for the first time in 22 years. Ipswich have a top-flight win to celebrate. Liam Delap's controversial penalty in the first half, brilliantly taken. Should it have been awarded? Debate will go on forever. And then Omari Hutchinson against his old club, set up by Delap in the second. Chelsea were okay in the first half, woeful after the break, and didn't deserve a thing. Ipswich 2, Chelsea 0.
The worst thing about that is that Alex Crook was right. He said earlier on today on the show that he thought Chelsea would drop points at Portman Road tonight, and they have. They've dropped all 3. They've been beaten by Ipswich by 2 goals to 0. The Aston Villa Brighton game coming to its conclusions. Still a few minutes to go there. It's 2-2. Here it's 2-0, and not much has happened for Manchester United. They've seen a little bit more of the ball in the last 10 minutes, but they haven't created anything. Created nothing. Dubravka, under pressure from Garnacho, kicks the ball clear. This time he does manage to get some distance on it. be nice actually to see. I mean, the problem with this place is it's so antiquated. You can't get the internet, so you can't get any of the statistical pages up. Right, pain in the backside. But it'd be interesting to see how many shots Manchester United have had on target in the game. I can only think of one. I think
quite a few block shots, got themselves in some half decent positions, but Newcastle have had good numbers in there. I mean, the game might have been a bit different if the header had gone in off the post, but
yeah, one shot on target confirmed.
That's not enough.
I thought I was right, but it's worth checking, isn't it?
I still think United look because they've got a couple. They've got Garnacho, they've got Diallo. Stick them nice and high and wide to let them cause problems, and then you play a 4-3-3.
They just never score any goals, though. This is a real problem for them, right? They go back the last 2 years and look at the stats of where they've finished and how many goals they've got. They've always finished higher than where their goal numbers in terms of goals for in the season. They just don't score enough goals. It's been a problem for a long time. They've got a rookie centre forward who they've got, and their backup centre forward doesn't score goals and isn't a centre forward anyway.
And they don't really have midfielders who chip in.
No, apart from Bruno Fernandes, and most of those are penalties.
Bruno. I mean, their best goal threat they sold to Napoli from midfield.
Scott McTominay, yeah. I mean, walk into this team, by the way.
Absolutely.
Free kick on the near side. Eriksson floating the ball into the box, headed away by Bird. It comes out towards the edge of the penalty area, and Mainu takes it on. Down towards the corner flag. Manchester United 2-0 down with 2 minutes to go. Do you know what? Credit to this Manchester United crowd. They're all still here.
I'm amazed they haven't left a bit earlier, because it's not been good, but it's 2-0, I suppose. Pay their money, support their team. They've been good, actually.
They've been really good. I
was disappointed
really
for Xerxes. I thought they dealt with that. There was frustration at everything, not just him.
I think so. I agree.
Could have been any player bringing him off. Could have come off at that point.
You're listening to Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. The game has been stopped. There was... is there an offside? A push, he's saying, Simon Hooper. He's having a word with... I think it was Maguire. He's saying push. There was a push. All right, okay, we get the point. Free kick, edge of the D. Where do Manchester United go from here? Because they've got tough fixtures coming up. Dan, they've got Liverpool away, Arsenal away. Southampton at home probably isn't as easy as it looks. Brighton at home, Rangers at home in the Europa League. Wow, what a game that's going to be.
The big dilemma he's got, if he changes system, he's going to get all sorts of criticism for not being his own man or sticking to his philosophy. Right now, you've got to be harder to beat. And that means you've got to do something different. Whether you keep the same system or do it from a deeper position, something different.
Barnes over on the left, in behind the Manchester United defence. Anthony comes back to make a challenge. Barnes has got hold of it, tries to turn. Doesn't quite get away from the first tackle, but does get away from Amad Diallo. Now it's to Bruno Guimaraes. We've got 30 seconds of normal time remaining. 2-0 to Newcastle United. It's back to Bruno Guimaraes again. And then he moves forward, plays the ball out towards the near side, and Livramento is checked by Garnacho. Garnacho into Bruno Guimaraes, back out to Joel Linton again.
Nice.
Into Guimaraes once more, under pressure. And then he's fouled. It's going to be a free kick 5 yards short of the halfway line. So how many minutes are going to be added on at the end? 3.
He's got to get some energy and legs into the team, and if that means Diallo, Garnacho wide, you can bring Collier in with Mainu, Ugarte in the middle of the pitch, 3 people who are all willing to get about, something that gives you legs and energy and gets the fans behind you. And he's got a problem up front because Højlund's way off it. He's not a threat.
And Xerxes can't hold the ball up.
No. Rashford's his most dangerous forward, and he doesn't want to play him because he said he wants to leave. I mean, it's chaos.
Onana sends it long. It's headed away. Tonali up the field. Manchester United going to be beaten again at home for the first time. They've never lost 3 successive Premier League home games. They're about to make an unwanted slice of history. They last lost 3 consecutive league matches at home between December 1978 and 1979. This is the worst they've been in nearly 45 years. Here is Garnacho combining with Dalot. And the tackle by Guimaraes in the right fullback position does enough. They know they've done enough. They've managed to hold Manchester United at arm's length in this second half. and they're going to go away with 3 points for only the second time in Premier League history. The records are tumbling like the raindrops usually do from the Manchester sky. Newcastle about to win a 5th game in a row. They've now scored 18 goals in 6 Premier League games in December. No Bruno, no Rashford, no Shaw, no goals, and a downcast, downbeat Old Trafford. And again, it's 3 games in a row without a goal for Manchester United. The Newcastle fans singing with glee. They're going up into the top 5 tonight. The European places beckon, and if you get into the top 5, there's a 97.8% chance this year that you'll get in the Champions League.
What a fantastic start.
You like that, didn't you?
Where'd you get it from?
Oh, don't you worry. Go do your research, pal. Full time at Villa. Here's Talksport's Jeff Peters.
Villa 2, Brighton 2, pulsating end-to-end stuff. Seaman Adingra's early goal cancelled out by a penalty from Ollie Watkins after VAR intervened. Watkins teed up Morgan Rogers early in the second half to clinically fire Villa ahead, but Tariq Lamptey finished off a gorgeous team move with 9 to play to ensure the points were shared. Villa 2, Brighton 2.
Joe Linton goes down. The cameras here at Old Trafford pan to glum faces in the Old Trafford crowd. Forward by Cher. We're into the last 15 seconds of additional time. It's Dalot forward towards Rasmus Højlund, who chases into the corner. He'll work, but has he got the quality to lift this Manchester United team and lead that United attack? That will be the question. Miley and Asula about to come on. I don't think they'll get the chance. Here's Garnacho down the left for Manchester United, trying to get a cross into the box. It's blocked by Livramento. It's away and up towards Isaac. Isaac trying to get clear, but there's the full-time whistle, and the roar you can hear is from the Newcastle United fans. Manchester United lose a 5th game in December. They haven't lost 5 games in a calendar month since 1962. It feels hopeless. And that isn't being defeatist, because that sense of loss and pessimism permeates every crack of the antiquated Old Trafford. And you wonder if they have bottomed out. Ruben Amorim mentioned the word survival the other day. He didn't really mean relegation, but he might have to start prioritising it the way it's going. For Newcastle, it is the complete opposite. Eddie Howe wins at Old Trafford for the first time as a delirious December to remember for Newcastle comes to an end. 5 straight wins, and they have signalled their intent that they fancy rejoining Europe's top table in 2025. A terrific first half performance, a well-managed second half performance, and Manchester United are beaten at home again. It's United 0, Newcastle United 2.
And Newcastle 5th, 3 points behind Chelsea, who have hit a major blip, losing at Ipswich tonight. All means Forest stay in second spot. But here at Old Trafford, the Manchester United players are going over to whatever fans are left here at Old Trafford to applaud them, and I'm not quite sure they're going to get the same applause back. And you have to look at the players. You also have to look at the manager tonight, because he got a lot of things very wrong and he didn't change it in time. The game was lost in the first 20 minutes to half an hour when Manchester United were an absolute mess. So as they go over to their fans, Newcastle players come over towards us, towards their fans in the corner, who are leaping about deliriously. They're having the best time. They're loving it. 5 straight wins, and they all think they're getting back into Europe. Dan Burn conducting the fans. Joe Linton once more, Bruno once more. So those fans give them more. And you have to say, Danny Murphy, the best team won tonight. There was no question about it. I think there was a big gulf, and you're right. Once they were 2-0 up, Newcastle were controlling the game, weren't they?
I thought they were exceptional first half, showed their quality. They looked fitter, more organised, better coached. Everything about them was better in the first half. United huffed and puffed a little bit in the second half, but Newcastle do deserve great credit for so many aspects of what they did tonight, but United were woeful. I mean, yes, you're right, by the way, the manager does deserve some blame. There's only so many weeks that you can't see some sort of patterns or not even patterns, but being organised. Simple things not happening, like being overran in the middle of the park because they've got an extra player. I mean, come on, simple stuff. I could see after 5 minutes. Probably see it on a team sheet, to be honest, but I give them the benefit of the doubt, see how they're going to set up. And even when they changed it, it didn't really, nothing too much changed really. The reason Newcastle didn't then make lots of chances because of Newcastle's game management. They decided not to go for it, manage the game.
They're in control.
United have got a big problem, not only because I think the tactics are wrong, because that's just my opinion, and I think it's proving, the results are proving that point, but they can't score goals. They look devoid of ideas.
But do you not think Ruben Amorim has shown incredible naivety here?
Yeah.
Because he's got his 3-4-3, this is how I'm going to play, and he hasn't really considered the squad tonight. He's not really considered the players he's got to work with for that system. He's not even considered the opposition tonight, who are on a roll. Listen to the fans, they're on a roll. He's not done that. It's either stupid or at best naive from a manager fresh to the Premier League. But this is a harsh lesson he's got to learn from tonight.
I think what he's trying to do is stick with the system and hope it improves, and give obviously the games are relevant, but just use them also to learn the system, for the players to make mistakes and improve during that time, because he hasn't had much time on the training pitch. They've played a lot of games recently. The problem is now that's creating pressure on, not so much on him just yet, but it's creating huge pressure on the players because they're losing games like they've never lost before. You know, 3 home games on the spin, we said, or 3 league games on the spin.
Yep.
They're not scoring goals. The fans are getting frustrated. They're booing their own players. Right, I tell you what I'm going to do. It's not about me. This is about the club right now. We need to be hard to beat. We need to get some results on the board quick to get some, and we're going to set up a way of playing today where we're not outnumbered, we're not overran, and we're damn hard to beat. And we might have the odd breakaway and counter-attack and get a goal that way, but we're not getting done over again.
Luke Littler is at the Oki at Ali Pali, and that's live on Talksport 2 right now. You can take a listen to that. One quick question before you give us your man of the match, Danny Murphy, and it's about somebody who didn't play, and that's Marcus Rashford. I just do not understand it. You need a threat, you need goals, you need something a bit different. And yeah, sure, you can say that Marcus Rashford has made mistakes, he's done things wrong, he's said he wants to go, and he's not been brilliant, but you needed something, and all you've done is left him on the bench. I want to know how the other players feel about that, because surely players to a certain extent stick together. Aren't the other players looking at that thinking, what's this manager doing?
I feel for Amorim in that he shouldn't be having to deal with this scenario, but
that's management.
Yeah, but I blame him for putting him back on the bench. If he's out of your thoughts and you've got no intention of putting him on the pitch, because let's be perfectly honest, you're not bringing Anthony on ahead of Rashford on any given day.
Incredible.
Yeah. So he's got no intention of putting Rashford on the pitch any time. They're 2-0 down. So don't put him on the bench. Stick to your guns. He said he wants to leave. You don't want him involved. You're putting him on the bench because what you don't want to do, but I think what he's done, as Sam alluded to, if I put a young player on the bench and leave Rashford still out, I'm saying to the world I don't want him. So, but he's made a problem for himself, because Rashford is now frustrated at him. The fans are going, we're saying, media, the fans are going, why has he put Rashford on the bench, not bring, we're 2-0 down? So he's given himself another headache now in the press conference.
Well, what do other players feel about it? What's the dressing room say about it?
I think the other players will be frustrated. You know, you're either, if someone's out of it and they want to leave, it's like, leave him out. If you're bringing him back, go on then. We need him. Because whatever you think as a United player, he's your best goal threat.
And my understanding, tell me if I'm wrong here, players don't like to see other players humiliated, and that's what's happened tonight. He's been humiliated there.
No, they don't. And I've had it done to me twice in my career, and the players backed me twice. It was a strange one, but I've had 2 situations where a manager tried to humiliate me a little bit. One by training with the kids, the other one by leaving me out of the squad and telling me I was back in the squad, and then leaving my name off the team sheet and put a young lad on the bench instead of me. So I went outside Stamford Bridge, got a cat taxi and went home.
Don't blame you.
But he caused himself a problem with the other lads, because you're spot on. What you don't do, I don't think he's trying to disrespect him, by the way, tonight. I don't think that's why he did it. I think he was thinking, if I bring someone younger and less experienced in and still leave him out, I'm going to get a problem. The actual opposite happened. he's going to have a bigger problem by putting him on and not using him.
Well, he's not in line for this, Marcus Rashford. It's time now for us to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Man of the match on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day.
They've had no Man United players in line for this. Which Newcastle man are you going for, Danny Murphy?
Well, do you know what, Ed? I'll be quick because there's so many I could mention because there were so many terrific performances, and probably 5 of us who watched the game, 4 of us who watched the game, they could all pick someone different. I'm actually going to give it to Tonali for the whole 90. I thought Joe Linton was exceptional. Bruno was great in patches. Gordon,
Lewis Hall was terrific.
Lewis Hall was terrific. I think Tonali in that role, the control that he gave him, the physicality, looks fit, he looks strong, he's technically good, could have scored, should have scored. I thought he was outstanding.
I think it's a good choice. Tonali is our man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.